Hello, everybody. It is
Yo,
Beyond the Surface here on the X-Rated Sports Network. We got Dwight Walton back in the fold. Let's start there. Dwight, happy to have you back, man. Woo, let's go, baby.
Missed you.
DW.
What's going on, buddies?
And he's speechless. Because of the KFC, man. Little meal while we eat. Hey,
I was hungry coming in, man. Sorry about that.
No, you're
We're
good.
hungry to have
You're
you
good.
back.
Maybe there's a sponsorship in there for you.
Thanks.
And then we have the great Dr. X, our founder, our creator. He is out there in LA with AM Pfeffer. Y'all are both holding it down. Looking good out there, man.
Yo, my guy.
So happy to have this man back in the studio next to me. I feel complete.
Love it.
Now, you guys are looking good. The set looks amazing, and we dive in. Guys, we were going to start with some hoops, but we have breaking NFL news, and I know this is like, it's a hot topic for everybody, but specifically us, because we're Shedeur guys over here. Mary Kay Abbott, who is the Browns insider, reported, and this came down an hour or so ago, Shedeur Sanders will start Sunday against the Niners after beating the Raiders, despite Dillon Gabriel clearing the concussion protocol. This is huge news. I applaud the Browns for making the right decision here, but this is a little surprising given the history. Let me explain, and then we'll go around the room here, fellas. After the game, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski was non-committal about his starter for this week's game. He had previously said that Dillon Gabriel will return to the starting role when he clears the NFL concussion protocol. So he's cleared it, but Stefanski's going in a different direction. There's more history here. Dillon Gabriel was drafted in the 3rd round. Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 5th round, okay? Draft capital is a relatively big thing. Sanders was a value pick by the Cleveland Browns. They did not necessarily target him, but this is what Andrew Berry, their shot caller, had to say after they traded up from 166 to 144 to get him. That's almost a full round of a trade up. He said, we felt like he was a good, solid prospect at the most important position. We felt like it got to a point where he was probably mispriced relative to the draft. You think? Really, the acquisition cost was pretty light. I like that phrase. And it's a guy that we think can outproduce his draft slot. I love all of that from Andrew Berry. He also said, our expectation is for him to come in here and work and compete. Nothing's been promised. Nothing will be given. Okay? Now, over the summer, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, who is a tool, okay, said he wants nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders, and that was an Andrew Berry pick. Okay? That's important because he owns the team. So it appeared that we had a political tug of war here. Haslam, not a Shedeur guy. Berry is. Stefanski caught in the middle. Well, Stefanski's now rolling with Shedeur, and I love it. Guys, Shedeur Sanders is a better prospect than Dillon Gabriel. That's fact. That's not subjectivity. Way more upside with Shedeur, way stronger arm, way more athletic. And guys, I like Dillon Gabriel. Okay, Dillon Gabriel's a system guy. You protect him. He can spread it, and he's accurate and stuff, but he's not dynamic. He's not extra. He's not a bonus guy out there, right? Shedeur can give you some of that stuff. I had him higher on my draft board than Dillon Gabriel. So the question is, guys, and Dr. X, I go to you first. Are the Browns now must-see TV with Shedeur Sanders starting?
Absolutely. The problem I have is that I tried to watch the game, and for some strange reason, there's some conspiracy theories out there, but it wasn't. I was on the West Coast, and there was a CBS logo on NFL Network of, they always have the logos of where you could find the game locally. And, Vegas is only a 45-minute flight to LA. So I'm just wondering why I wasn't able to see the game when there was clearly a CBS logo there. And it's almost like they knew the ratings were going to be super high. And so you couldn't find the game anywhere on the West Coast unless you were actually in Vegas or in the stadium. So hopefully they will show the game. I think we could tell by the ratings. Hopefully by next week we'll know, and we'll be able to talk about the difference in the ratings. But yeah, it is definitely must-see TV. And I'm not sure if he's going to have, the same type of game he had last game. I think he played solid last game, but I know the defense of the 49ers is going to be pretty much, I would say, more formidable than the Las Vegas Raiders, which we know is pretty much an open door policy there. So hopefully he still has some good numbers and can make those who are rooting for him very proud.
Doc, can we get you to a sports bar that might have the NFL Sunday ticket? Is that an option for you to explore to watch Shedeur?
I'm about to upgrade my package for DirecTV, so that's definitely going to happen by the end of this week. Yeah.
Right on. All right, Dwight, you're up next, man. Are the Browns must-see TV with Shedeur Sanders? And, take us into your view on this whole thing.
Well, first off, I will say this before I start. I cheer for any black quarterback. I want them to succeed. I know the history behind the position when it comes to the National Football League. It hasn't been the best. Of course, it has gotten much better over the past couple of decades, obviously. But I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan, and I want him to succeed. He's definitely must-see TV because we either want to see him succeed or there are some people out there that want to see him fail. And the reality is he's exciting. He is the son of Deion Sanders, who might possibly go down as the best NFL player to play in the NFL. There are other question marks around that, obviously, but he is a lightning rod. He definitely is a topic of discussion, and personally, I want to see him succeed. I watched Colorado football games a couple of years ago because of Shedeur Sanders and his father, Deion. So for me, he definitely is must-see television. I think he's going to bring people to the screen. If you go by the stats this past Sunday, he had the largest average pass per play in the entire National Football League. Now, yes, he did throw a screen pass, and the running back took it 66 yards for a touchdown. But at the end of the day, 5-10 years from now, we're not going to know how Sanders threw that football. So I think he gives the Cleveland Browns juice. I think he gives the fan base juice. I think the players, as witnessed by Myles Garrett and several of his teammates, when he completed that 65-yard pass, too bad the receiver couldn't maintain his balance and get into the end zone. But just by that alone, I think you see the enthusiasm. He brings a juice to the franchise, whether the owner is approval of it, media members, fan base, whatever the case may be. I think Shedeur Sanders is must-see TV, and that Niners-Browns game this upcoming Sunday is definitely going to be watched by a lot of fans. No question about it.
A.M. Pfeffer.
All right, there's a lot to unpack here, and I appreciate what everybody's saying. Is Shedeur Sanders personally must-see TV? Oh, absolutely. And he is great as a lightning rod for the discourse, and I love the discourse. I love how much we're talking about this kid. I love the fact that the Browns are actually following what I think is the appropriate script on week 10, week 11, week 12, somewhere around there. I expected to see him on the field, and here we are. It just the way the chips fell, and it was almost inevitable that you were going to see it. And if they were smart, they should announce him the starter for the rest of the year from here on out. But I do want to qualify this a little bit. Rick, are the Browns must-see TV now that Shedeur Sanders is the starting cornerback? Are the 3-8 Browns must-see TV? Should the league be flexing out the Broncos at the Commanders on Sunday night and putting the Browns-Niners game there? No, we're not quite there.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not
By the way,
yet, but I'm yeah. Please go
I'm
ahead.
just going. Quinshon Judkins is a monster. Go ahead. Back to you.
Yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, again, I want to temper the expectations a little bit. I do love, I'm absolutely going to be following box scores. I'm absolutely going to be watching the video, and I want to see this kid do it again back to back. So it is something that we should be tuning into, and you could be like, yo, he should be in your YouTube box of your 4 games of the ones that you're picking and all of that. Again, I'm not quite there, but the Browns is must-see TV. And at the moment, he is the quarterback of a 3-8 team that you have to look at it like, yeah, I'm still watching an NFL game and I've got to listen to the announcers drone on and on about him and all of that. I actually like what we're doing. I like the discourse in America, the conversation that's real after the fact that should be had and everything that Dwight said. So, amazing that we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. Amazing that he's our lead story. I love that he's a starting quarterback. I love that we're all going to be talking about him and he's the face now, a big face of the NFL. You know, as far as the game is concerned, a couple more games. Let's see him do it again.
Well, Rick, let me come in here again.
If I can interject here.
You can't. You can't.
No, I want to say something. Here,
go ahead.
You know what? If you want to keep it real, besides the National Football League should seriously consider flexing the game to a Sunday night, there's two reasons. Shedeur Sanders being one, and Myles Garrett is having a historic season in terms of sacks. He already has 18 sacks for the season. He might break the record this Sunday. That's how good this guy is. He's in the MVP conversation on a 3-8 football team. The defense of the Cleveland Browns are great, not just him, but of course he is the catalyst. He is the leader of that side of the football. We must celebrate what Myles Garrett is doing this season, along with that defensive core that he's leading. Myles Garrett, as far as I'm concerned, besides Shedeur Sanders, is must-see TV. And I don't think it would be that bad of a decision for the powers that be to flex the game. I know that they won't, but for the Shedeur Sanders, Myles Garrett angle of the whole situation, I would seriously consider it. That would be my decision.
Dr. X.
Yeah, so I'll say this, Rick. It's so much so like that it's going to be must-see TV, but definitely for me, because prior to even Shedeur throwing his first pass in a regular season NFL game, I picked him up on the waiver wire and started him. Now, he only got me 11 points in our points per whatever league, but in our super flex league. So he's my second quarterback right now. But I also have, what's the guy's name? Judkins?
Krishan Judkins.
Yeah. So he's on my squad as well. So I'm definitely going to get that NFL ticket. And I'll be watching both of those storylines, as well as what Dwight was saying about Myles Garrett.
Indeed, man. And obviously, they're a 3-8 team. There's a bunch of holes on this team. These are the three dudes on this team, right? But look, with all due respect to the players and what you guys have said, nobody's going outside of Cleveland or Ohio. Nobody's going outside of their way to tune into the Browns to watch Quinshon Judkins and Myles Garrett. I mean, maybe some defensive gurus around America, maybe some retired defensive ends like, oh, I've got to watch Myles Garrett, right? But most people aren't. Shedeur is going to drive them to the Cleveland Browns. But Dwight, you're right. What Myles Garrett's doing is absolutely spectacular. Had 3 sacks last week, got the game ball. We can debate that. I mean, he's had a bunch of 3-sack games, right? He's had a bunch of phenomenal years. He's on a fast track as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But Kevin Stefanski gives the game ball to Myles Garrett and not Shedeur Sanders. I thought that was bull crap. So let's get into some of the history here, okay? For Shedeur, 11 of 20, 209, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, right? Not a great stat line. However, according to Tommy Callahan, who's a local Cleveland media guy, Shedeur is the only quarterback in league history to have multiple 50-yard passes in his first start. And as you astutely mentioned, Dwight, one was a screen, but that stat is still that stat. Nobody's ever done that. Shedeur just did that. Sanders became the 42nd quarterback to start for the Browns since 1999. If you want to know why the Browns suck every year, it's that stat right there. The 42nd quarterback to start since 1999? That's unbelievable, guys. The first Cleveland quarterback to win his first NFL start since Eric Zaire. Remember him? Back in 1995. The victory ended a 17-game losing streak for the Browns in games with a quarterback making his first start. So tons and tons of history right there. And let's hear from Shedeur Sanders after this win against the Raiders.
Yeah, Shedeur, you come here to Las Vegas and not only lead the Browns to a victory, but to your first victory as an NFL starting quarterback. What does this moment mean to you?
God he the only way I made it through it. The last 6-7 months been extremely hard. Like, hey, come on, bro, I'm doing a serious interview, fam. Win is crazy. It's amazing, you know, off of 1 week of practice, you know what I mean? Just 1 week of practice. So imagine, you know what a full offseason look like. It get dangerous. But it's just a 1 week of practice, so I'm just truly thankful, you know, that everything happened. Win is crazy. It's amazing.
So in America, perhaps the world, but I know in America, we have a lot of joy stealers. We have a lot of people that aren't happy, whatever, and God bless those people. But you can call them haters, you can call them joy stealers. And a lot of them were out on Twitter on Sunday, and specifically for that last quote. Now, there was about a 45-second soundbite at the beginning of that where he talked about God, and he talked about God's influence on his life and how God is steering his life and how he gives it all to God. And it was beautiful and amazing, okay? What went viral was the 15 seconds or so that you saw right there where, and I like that. He's a young fella. He just won. He's confident, okay? I didn't see anything like cocky or even hate-worthy in that. He's a young guy who's battling odds and doubters, and he didn't say, I told y'all, I said y'all. He didn't like boast and all that kind of stuff. He just said, I just had 1 week of practice. Guys, Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel were getting all the reps, okay? When you're a third-string quarterback, you don't get reps. You get like some, but you don't get reps. That's what he meant by that. Like, this is the first time they threw me in the fire, yo, and look at what I did. So, yeah, it's encouraging. So, guys, your thoughts on some of the stats, what Shedeur said, maybe how some people out there are kind of trying to drag him down. Let's go to AM first on this one.
There's always going to be people trying to drag you down. What he said was great. What he said was great. It galvanized the team, right? He's saying what you're supposed to when you're the leader of the team. 1 week of practice. Put me back in there, guys. Put me back with the starters. That was a lot of fun. We went out. We won the game. And Rick, to your point, everything that he did in history over, you know, the only quarterback over 50 yards 2 different times since Eric Zaire, 17-game losing streak, snap, all of it. It's exciting stuff. It's amazing. He didn't say anything wrong, and anybody who's out there on Twitter saying that he did is just looking to make a name for themselves. It was totally fine. It was great. I loved it.
Dr. X, the hater report, which is a good follow, like just for video and like top stories and stuff, but I don't always like their spins and slants, right? They started they only put out the part where Shedeur was talking about 1 week of practice and stuff, and they started their tweet with Shedeur talking crazy. Like, what's crazy about that?
Yeah, I think he's just stating the obvious. You know, if he got more reps with the first team, and as you said, you know, he actually was drafted 5th and was also the 4th string quarterback, so he wasn't going to get reps with the first team. But what a lot of people are saying is that he should at least got some reps earlier on, knowing with the concussion protocol going on, with the trade that just happened with Joe Flacco. So for him to not have those reps and he finally got one in during that week, that's great. But I think the future is bright, and that's what he was stating. He's thankful that the future is bright. He's thankful for the opportunity, and he has the faith that he's going to succeed if given the opportunity and the reps.
Dwight, you get the last word here on Shedeur before we move on.
I want to echo the sentiment of everybody on the panel here. I think what he said, he was just stating factual information, that if he gets more reps, he's going to be more prepared, and more prepared means more success. And that is factual information here. But we also have to put this in its proper context. The reality is, and I forget who the other quarterback was, but coming into the season, coming into training camp this past July, Shedeur Sanders was 5th on the depth chart behind Deshaun Watson.
Oh, they had Kenny Pickett too.
Kenny Pickett. So it was Deshaun Watson, it was Joe Flacco, it was Kenny Pickett, it was Dillon Gabriel, and then it was Shedeur Sanders. And this is where fandom comes into play. Emotions seem to clog our judgment when it comes to context. And again, I am all for Shedeur Sanders. But the reality is, if you're trying to get success with the first and second team, Joe Flacco and whomever was second at the time were going to get the majority of the reps. Yes, during the preseason, there's going to be room to grow in terms of who you play with in the preseason. That's totally understandable. But once the regular season started, it was pretty clear where they thought Shedeur Sanders was on the depth chart. So again, All he is stating in that 15 seconds that we saw, and that's what social media chooses to put out because it's about sensationalism and about getting the clicks and the views on in terms of captions and headlines. That's the way it's going to be. But the reality is, Shedeur Sanders is speaking it into existence. The more reps he gets, the better he's going to be. And that's the reality. I'm hoping and praying for this young man to succeed because there is a lot of hate out there. I just want to see him grow and grow into the player that I fully expect him to be. Give him the chance, give him the reps, give him the proper practice time, and you will see Shedeur Sanders be more successful than not successful.
Rick, can I say one more thing here very quickly?
Of course.
If I may. One thing that is must-see TV, which is actually pretty cool, Shedeur Sanders now has exactly 6 weeks to prove the Cleveland Browns should not be drafting a quarterback in next year's draft. So that's interesting, right? I mean, if you're a fan of football and you want to look at it and it's like, that's must-see TV, the clock is ticking, and the ball is in his hands. Dwight, you're right, 5 quarterback. He had to get somehow, whatever, everything the chips fell as they may, and he got to this point, and now it's exactly where it should be. Like, we're in the third act of the movie. You got 6 weeks, baby. Get it done. Let's see if you're the guy.
Hey, Rick, let me ask you a question real quick, though. Which team would he actually be auditioning for? Like, do you think there's a team that's looking for a starting quarterback? Because, as you said earlier, and I think the last show was that he was a value pick. It was like, oh, he's still on the board, let's take him. So my question to you is, which team do you see him being the starting quarterback? Is there only like 1 or 2 teams right now that could actually use him as a starting quarterback next season?
So I'm gonna run through the standings here in a minute, Doc. But what I can tell, like I think I said it somewhere in what I prepared here. The NFL is full of a bunch of haters. Okay, not Twitter. I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about NFL front offices. I'm talking about owners, GMs, coaches. Okay, scouts, coaching staffs, the analytic people, all those guys. They're haters. They're not all haters, but a ton of them are haters. Okay, they overanalyze, they nitpick, they look at what you can't do rather than what you can do. It's maddening. It's maddening. Okay, you see, and I'm a NFL draft talent evaluator, right? I play in dynasty leagues. I do mock drafts. Like I'm a college football guy. I'm a draft Nick, I guess that's what they call it. Draft Rick, I guess. But they befuddle me round after round, year after year, Doc. Like, a lot of this drafting makes no sense. Why did you take that guy over this guy? Because he's safe or whatever. There's just a bunch of haters out there, Doc. And so all of these haters passed on Shedeur Sanders 5 times. Okay, he went to the 5th round, or at least 4 times, right? Every team in the league had 4 swings at Shedeur Sanders and did not take that swing. So is there a lot of love for Pardon me?
Including the Browns.
Including the Browns, because he went in the 5th round to them. So so let me go around the league here real quick, Doc. Let me go to the standings, because I don't think there's too many teams. New England's got their guy. Buffalo's got their guy. Miami, they say Tua is going to be their guy next year. The Jets are wide open, obviously. Shedeur looked great there. Baltimore's got their guy. Pittsburgh might not have their guy. He'd look good there. Since he's got Burrow, Cleveland, obviously we're talking about them. Daniel Jones in Indy. Lawrence in Jacksonville. Stroud in Houston. Ward in Tennessee. That's all locked up. Knicks, Herbert, Mahomes, and the Raiders may have an opening. They actually might. A lot of people thought the Raiders needed to draft Shedeur. I was one of them, okay, and they didn't. But they could go back and do that. I don't know what Geno's contract is. He might have a year left, but Geno ain't the answer. I mean, I like Geno, but he ain't the answer. He's having a pretty horrible year. Philly's got their guy. Dallas has got their guy. Washington's got their guy. And New York's got their guy. Chicago's got their guy. Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota thinks they got their guy, but they're dumbasses. They never have their guy. J.J. McCarthy, but it's not going to be an opening, right? I don't think they'll be looking at Shedeur. Tampa's got their guy. Carolina's got their guy. Atlanta might have their guy, but they got Cousins too. New Orleans kind of wide open here. Rams, Seahawks, Niners, and Cardinals all have their guys. So, Doc, there's probably about 3 teams out there that I mentioned, right? that
I like
could.
the Raiders.
But look, me too. Maybe they should trade. Maybe they'll like send a third rounder over to Cleveland. Go ahead, Dwight.
You know what, fellas? I don't think Kyler Murray is a shoo-in in Arizona. Maybe Shedeur can end up there. Maybe Kyler Murray ends up in Pittsburgh, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh next season. I think there might be a slot for Kyler Murray to move into Pittsburgh, which opens up Arizona. So maybe there's a spot there. I think the New York Jets situation is wide open for Shedeur. Imagine a personality and a character like Shedeur in the Big Apple, in New York City. Las Vegas is most definitely, I think, the Geno Smith era is going to be a short one in Las Vegas. There's an opening there. There are some situations to where I see Shedeur Sanders being given an opportunity. The question we have to ask ourselves, and we have to be honest with ourselves, do we think Shedeur Sanders, at this point in terms of his development, is he a National Football League starting quarterback? Or should he ease into a situation to where he can develop, get better at reading defenses, stop backpedaling in the pocket, stop circling in the pocket, get better at his footwork, his development, and go to a team that will properly develop him and to have a package, if you will, that will be most suited for his skill set. So I think there are several situations in the NFL that could benefit from Shedeur Sanders, or it just might very well be in Cleveland next season. I will say this, for as well as we hope and think Shedeur will play over the final 6 games of the season, I think the Cleveland Browns will still be in the market for a quarterback or two in next year's draft.
Dwight, it is good to have you back, man. Dwight Walton, Canadian basketball legend, back in the fold here on Beyond the Surface. Doc. Yes, of course. Doc, great question too, man. Rick Kamla, A.M. Pfeffer, shout out behind the glass to Jason Arambula, our producer, and our video director, Kai Josephson. They do phenomenal work, and we love all of you guys out there. Please subscribe to our work, the X-Rated Sports Network YouTube channel. That would be great. Let's get to some hoops, and I love this story. We were going to start the show with this story, but Shedeur took over, and that's totally cool. Was Clay right about Ja? We're going to play some sound here in a minute, but I got to set this up. Let's rewind. Saturday, Grizzlies beat the Mavericks. The Grizzlies actually won a game without Ja Morant. If Cam Spencer's still on waivers, by the way, what's wrong with your league? Go get him immediately. Grizz beat the Mavericks 102-96. Ja Morant, in street clothes, starts trash talking to Klay Thompson. Okay, even though Ja Morant didn't break a sweat the whole game. Okay. And there's no end in sight to the DNPs, but still talking trash. Eye roll. So they were woofing. Ja then puts his finger right up in Klay Thompson's face. Okay, Klay swipes it away and then separated, and that was about it. All right, so let's go to the post-game locker room. Again, this is Klay Thompson talking about the incident here. I can't call it an altercation. Dust-up conversation, woofing. Here's Klay Thompson.
And with Ja, he's a funny guy. He has a lot to say all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. But you know what? That's for another day.
What did Ja have to say on this occasion?
Nothing of intelligent depth. It was really just his just running his mouth, and he's been running his mouth for a long time, and it's funny to run your mouth when you're on the bench. It's kind of the story of his career so far, just leaving us wanting more. You know, we all want to see him out there and do his best, but he's just been letting a lot of other stuff get in the way of that, and we need that.
I think it's a.
I like it.
I think it's a sound. I think it's a soundbite of the year in the NBA. Dwight Walton, I want to go to you first on this one, man.
Listen, Klay Thompson, thank you very much. Rick, I'm going to echo your sentiment. I believe so far up to this point, that is the soundbite of the NBA season. He, while dissing John Morant, he was classy and very positive in regards to John Morant's place in the NBA. And we all feel this way. The NBA is a better place when John Morant is on the basketball court. But unfortunately for Ja, it's the stuff that's happening off the court that seems to be superseding anything he's done on the court. We've talked about must-see television in the previous slot with Shedeur Sanders. A couple of years ago, I was on record saying the Memphis Grizzlies are must-see television because of John Morant. There was even some small pockets of media saying that John Morant was possibly the next face of the NBA. The NBA has been searching for that face over the past several years, and LeBron James refuses to go away, and I think justifiably so. He still is the face of the league. But John Morant has let the periphery stuff, get the better of him in this regard. Yes, injuries have played a part of it, but again, to put this in context, I believe this spat goes back several years to where I believe Klay Thompson might have said some things during the heyday, the championship seasons with the Golden State Warriors when the Memphis Grizzlies were on the come up. They were one of the up and coming young teams that were putting fear in the Western Conference. We all remember that famous quote by John Morant, "I'm good in the West." That's how confident Ja and the Memphis Grizzlies were at that time. So I believe Klay Thompson might have said something to John Morant. It stuck in his craw, and he kept the receipt, and he brought it back up the other night. He didn't call Klay Thompson a bum. He said, "You're a bum now." Most of us, if not all of us, on this panel, on this show, have said that Klay Thompson is a shell of himself. Basically, he's washed. He's no longer a contributor in the NBA, and I think that's what John Morant said to Klay. It got underneath his skin. I know people out there want to say that there was some kind of conversation about Klay Thompson's current relationship status. I wasn't there. I didn't read the lips. I understand that. But I believe it was more a beef in terms of the word bum that was exchanged. And I think Ja got underneath Klay Thompson's skin by uttering the word bum now. Not a bum overall for his career, but he's a bum now. And of course, Klay hears all the talk. He's upset about that. He's definitely pissed about it. And I think that's where the beef is. But I commend Klay Thompson, while being critical of John Morant, was definitely extremely positive and understanding that the NBA is a much better place when John Morant is healthy, not talking about stuff off the court, and he has his on-play court allowing him to shine rather than the negativity.
Dr. X, we got B-Dot in the house.
B-Dot. Okay, I like the hat, B-Dot.
Hooper, NBA impersonator, rapper, comedian. Dude, what am I forgetting here? Probably producer, chef. Right? I'm sure you produce stuff.
He's a chef, too.
Chef.
He's a chef, too.
Yep. Yeah, I produce
Yes,
these
sir.
kids breakfast,
Girl
everyday
dad.
routine.
And boy dad.
I love it, man. I love it. B-Dot, let's bring you in right on this tip right here. Was Klay Thompson right about what he said about John Morant?
100%, man. We all know how Ja is, and Klay took the high road. Knowing that Ja is pure entertainment, very exciting, and he's a franchise player on a certain level. But overall, I think Klay handled it with much class, as he is, because he could have got ugly. He could have said negative stuff. He could have said a lot of negative things. But knowing that the NBA is a family, and we try to hold our brothers and everybody else accountable while being respectful. I 100% totally agree with Klay Thompson.
Dr. X, you're next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I echo what Dwight was saying as well, which I think it was encapsulated a lot of positivity. But what was good about it was that he said all the things we wanted to say, which is number one, it lacked intelligent depth. Number two, that he's not accountable. So we want him to be more accountable to what he does, what he says. And then it's just like, number three was just like, truth is we would like to see you more often on the floor, but you're always on the sidelines. And I think he paused because I think he was probably going to mention his injuries, but he was like, hey, I've been through some injuries. I don't want to mention that. But he was just like, the main thing is all the off-court shenanigans. It's all the extracurricular activities that he's involved in. And that has kind of robbed the fan base and, just the NBA in general of his star power.
I hear you, man. Great points, Doc. And I like how you stacked up the point that you made that really opened my eyes was when Klay checked up, right? Because now Klay had ACL, Achilles, right? Josh just got all this soft tissue stuff, which tells me he's not in good enough shape. So it's a difference. But at the same time, Klay's like, I'm going to get killed on social if I crush dudes about missing games. Great point, Doc. Let's go to A.M. Pfeffer here, man. Were you okay with what Klay said about Ja?
Oh, yeah, Klay was 100% right. But, Klay, where you been for a decade plus, man? I think back of all the things you have said, like, you are one of the guys who say absolutely nothing in interviews. I mean, other than, something beautiful he actually said about Kobe Bryant and a tribute and related it to Vanessa and her 3 children, which was amazing. And I kind of love Klay for that. Like, he is well known as never saying anything and being standoffish. And here he was like, I wish he had said more. Like, it's taken him on his way out of the league to finally kind of open up and say a little something like this. And I wish other players would follow suit and hold their counterparts accountable, especially a guy like Ja. But yeah, of course he was right. He did it in such a great way. But Klay, where you been? That was beautiful, man. I wish we had more of that over your career.
100%.
This is why Klay Thompson is one of my favorite dudes. I didn't say players, I said dudes. I rock with Klay. He's a boater, loves the water, always in the ocean. Like, we can relate to that. And he's just a different, unique guy. He's got a different lens and perspective on Earth than a lot of people do. And I think it's a very, high-end perspective. Very peaceful. I dig the guy, man. So in terms of this Ja stuff, right? Klay was 100,000% right. These are messages that Ja Morant needs to hear. Problem is, Doc, he needs, dew blocks or whatever that gets the wax out of your ears. Okay, these are I don't know what the little box is. You go to CVS and you get it, and boom. But these are the messages that Ja needs to hear, but doesn't want to, from his peers, from those around him. I didn't bring up who. I don't go there, right? Father-son thing. I don't know what T and Ja talk about. So I'm making no commentary on that. I'm talking about his boys. I'm talking about, his agent and just, I'm sure he's got a little team, right? So those type of people need to, show him love. But I don't know how those conversations are going. Maybe Ja's just unreachable. I do not know. As it stands right now, he appears to be unreachable. I'm not putting a sentence in locking that up forever. People can change. I've said for years that Ja Morant needs to change. He doesn't need to change who he is. I'm not talking about tats and your hair and stuff. I'm talking about just focus on basketball. Just get serious about this sport. Everybody wants the same thing. Every single NBA fan wants the same thing. Whether you're in Golden State, New York City, you're up in Seattle, everybody wants Ja Morant to play and play well and thrill us with viral highlights. Every single person wants that. We're all cheering for Ja. There's nobody out here, I don't like Ja Morant. I don't like how he plays. No, nobody says that, okay? He frustrates the you-know-what out of us, but we all want the same thing. What Klay Thompson both showed him tough love and love in the same soundbite. Okay, Doc, you brought it up about you're never accountable for anything. That was dope, by the way. That was a knife wound. That was if Ja has his ears open, that's a knife wound right there. To hear another player say that you're not accountable, ouch, babe. But it's absolutely accurate. And then all the other stuff that he said. So I love it, and we credit Klay Thompson. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say something else that I noticed was kind of encouraging was to see that Ja actually was trying to stick up for his teammate, and 2 weeks ago he wasn't trying to be anywhere near the huddle. Like he was just like staying to himself. He was just pretty much trying not to look like he was supportive of even teammates, which was like a huge red flag. But the fact that he was trying to stick up for Santi Aldama was huge to me, and I think it kind of showed that at least he's locking in to kind of have that camaraderie with his teammates. So that's a good sign. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to stay in Memphis, but at least it might make people more prone to say, okay, at least this guy is playing for his team now, even though he's not on the court.
It's an excellent point, Doc. It's an excellent point. And the team has said that they don't want to trade him. Like, you know what I'm saying? That like, okay, go ahead, Dwight.
No. Didn't Jock Lawndale stick up for Ja as they were walking off the court a couple of games ago as well? He is well liked by his teammates. It's just that he just needs to let his on-court performance speak a lot more than his off-court performance. That's all. I think he's well liked. He just has to mature in some regard. But I think in terms of his teammates, I think they back him up. I think they do.
Oh, I agree with that. I definitely do. And the key word there, Dwight, you hit it. And I've said it for, the change I was talking about. I think I didn't go back to it, stream of consciousness, but it's maturity. Okay. I'm not going to call him immature. He just needs more maturity. You guys hear what I'm saying? He just needs to mature and become, more of an adult than what he is right now. Let's move on here. Beyond the Surface, X-Rated Sports Network. It is Rick Kamla, A.M. Pfeffer, Dr. X, a.k.a. Phil McDonald, and we have Dwight Walton and B-Dot as well. B-Dot, I go to you first on this one, man. I want you to write some bars for us here, B-Dot. Script the end of Chris Paul's NBA career. What we know, according to ESPN, he will retire at the end of this season. But B-Dot, that doesn't mean that Chris Paul has to conclude this season with the crummy LA Clippers. So script the end of Chris Paul's NBA career. B-Dot, you first.
Ooh, man, that's a great statement right there. I haven't even thought about that. Where would Chris Paul end his career? I think he still has a lot of basketball in him, and we shall not fear. Will it be with Milwaukee Buckets and Giannis with those Deers? Or could he, call it quits and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I ain't really feeling it. And end up in New Orleans where it all started. So that's a great question. I would love to see him on a contender. Do the Rockets? No, I don't think the Rockets, just because they found their swag. They found their swag. Reed Shepherd's looking good. Those boys are looking amazing, even though they just lost to the Suns last night, who we have to talk about also. And amen, hallelujah, Thompson had 28, 7, and 5. But I feel like I think Chris Paul would end it with the Clippers. I don't think they will move him at all. Hopefully the Clippers find something to, boost that team up, to give them a chance to make some type of noise in the playoffs, because you got James Harden going off for 55, but it wasn't against a contender. It wasn't against nobody real. Not saying James has washed anything, but that 55, I don't want to say it wasn't meaningful, but it really didn't mean much. So I think he will end it with the Clippers. I think it's probably the most perfect write-off story, because that's where he had his best career there, even though he did make it to the finals with the Suns. But I feel as though he will end it with the Clippers. And I'm sorry, Doc. I'm sorry, guys. I don't think we hear much from Chris Paul this season.
Wow. Okay. He scripted the end of Chris Paul's career. I'd like it to be a little bit more plot twisty and more of an action movie, but B-Dot, that's cool. Let's go to A.M. Pfeffer here. How you scripting the end of Chris Paul's career?
Yeah, absolutely. Get him off the Clippers. They're going nowhere. Even if they somehow sneak into the 9 and 10 spot and fighting for their playoff lives, there's no reason for him to stay there. Like, send him off. I mean, it's cool that he even went back to the Clippers at all this year, right? So before the trade deadline, give him a couple nights, give him the standing ovation that he needs. He already spent time back in the jersey. Where does he need to go? B-Dot, you mentioned the team And I'm surprised he glossed back over that, but I'm saying the Rockets. Absolutely. They've got a point guard size hole, not as a starter. Reed Shepherd's fine, and they do have their swag, and they're figuring this out, and they're good enough without him. But when it comes to the playoffs, when playoff time comes around, you need a general out there who can run the second unit, who can give you a couple of minutes, or if somehow, some way a series isn't going right, you need to switch things up, and you need a guy handling the rock for you and somehow pulling it out, gutting it. I mean, you talk about an action movie. Give me that 26 minutes tonight in game 3 of, the conference finals, whatever it is, and Chris Paul comes and he's the hero and whatever it is. The Rockets are a perfect landing spot for him just to do that.
All right, Dr. X, you're
Chase
up
the
next.
ring.
Script the end
Chase
of
the
Chris
ring.
Paul's career.
Well, just a little history here. You remember Hurricane Katrina? That was like what? Was that 2006 or 2007? Whatever it was, Chris Paul was on the New Orleans Hornets, right? I don't think he'll go to New Orleans, but I was thinking because he's from North Carolina and his history there, Wake Forest, and all the history with his grandfather having, he has a really sad history. I'm not sure if you saw the docuseries about Chris Paul, but I would hope that he goes to the Hornets, and maybe there is some trade that happens with a couple of Hornet players that end up in LA. I can see LaMelo Ball, who's from California, ending up on the Clippers, seeing that they're starting the season so bad. And if I'm the Clippers and the Hornets, I would look to do a little mix and match with some of those players. And I would try to get Chris Paul to be in North Carolina, where he's from. And hopefully there's something that can work out there. But I think, let him have like a farewell tour with the Clippers and then end it in Charlotte with the Hornets, because the logo was the same. It wasn't the city. But I think, all in all, there is some history where they can kind of put all that together and everybody benefits. You're on
Rick,
mute.
you're on mute. Oh, boy.
I made it through
You're on
last
mute.
show and most of the show. All right. So this is going well here. We're scripting the end of Chris Paul's career. We've got an LAC, we've got a Charlotte, we've got a Houston, and Dwight Walton. What is next as we script the end of Chris Paul's career?
We need to read the tea leaves, fellas. There's a reason why he made the announcement in North Carolina. He's from Winston-Salem. He went to Wake Forest. He did play for the Hornets when they were in New Orleans, and there's a reason why he signed with the Clippers. He wants to be in Los Angeles with his children. He's not going anywhere. He understands his time is about to end in the NBA. It's just unfortunate. He thought that the Clippers were going to be a lot better this season than they currently are. And they still may sneak into the playoffs. And as I've said, the older rosters, the Golden States, the LA Clippers, I think they're more built for playoff success than they are regular season success. I think Chris Paul will have a say in how that goes throughout this season. He's not getting very much minutes right now. I think he was given courtesy minutes in Charlotte this past Sunday because he made the announcement. But again, read the tea leaves. Made the announcement in North Carolina, the connection to the Hornets organization. His kids are in LA. He chose to sign with a team in LA because he wants to see his kids play high school basketball. He wants to see his kids participate in whatever activities they have after school. When he leaves practice, when he gets home from a long road trip, he gets to be at home in Los Angeles. I don't think he's going to accept any trade unless he's going to a team to where he's guaranteed minutes on a contender. He is not leaving Los Angeles. Again, the tea leaves are there. Made the announcement in Carolina. He's from Winston-Salem, played for the Hornets organization, but he purposely signed with an LA team so he could be close to his family and end his career in Los Angeles. One fact here, it's funny how we think that Chris Paul had the most success with the LA Clippers, but the majority of his career was spent with the New Orleans Hornets. So we have to remember that as well. But again, his family is now rooted in Los Angeles. I think this is where it ends, That's where he wants to be. He wants to be close to his family as he rides off into the sunset.
Ooh, so we got 2 Clippers, 1 Hornets, 1 Rockets, and 1 Lakers. I want Chris Paul to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm scripting the end of Chris Paul's career. Should he finish the season with the Clippers? That's not a no, that's a hell nah, okay? No. Why would you, on this carcass roadkill of a basketball team, why would you want to just play it out like that? Okay, but to Dwight's point, and I know this, and probably all you guys also know, he doesn't want to leave LA, okay? That's why he signed with the Clippers. His family there, all the stuff Dwight said. He doesn't want to leave LA. Maybe he does for Charlotte, Doc, to your point. Like, that's kind of right? Returning back home, kind of a nice conclusion, back to where you got all those buckets and all those assists. Like, I dig the theory. But I think at the end of the day, he doesn't want to leave LA. Now, so this is how I'm scripting it. If the LA Lakers are not an option, if JJ Redick is like, no, or if Rob Pelinka is just like, no, then I want him somewhere storybook, right? Just anywhere but the Los Angeles Clippers. They're not even playing him, right? Like he'll sit 2 games and then play 10 minutes one night. Like, remember what he said last year? By the way, he played all 82 games last year. Remember what he said? He said something to the effect of, I'd rather die than not play or not start or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but it was like something like that. The guy wants to play. But Chris Paul's got to go ring chasing. And the solution is get a buyout with the Los Angeles Clippers, sign with LeBron James and the LA Lakers. It's by far the best option. Again, you have Gabe Vincent, you have Marcus Smart, you have Reeves, you have Bron, you have Luka. You got a ton of point guards, okay? I'm not diagnosing a need here. But you would be adding, like a lot of these teams had the OG spot, right? Like the Udonis Haslem spot in Miami. It's the guy that doesn't play, Juwan Howard at the end of his career. It's the guy that doesn't play, but he's really smart, probably pretty good in practice, right? That kind of thing. Chris Paul can be that guy. What you would be adding if you're the Los Angeles Lakers or any team is another basketball genius to your program. He's a basketball genius, okay? I was going to bring up a guy. I don't want to slam anybody. Just Chris Paul's a basketball genius. Let's put that up on a platter and leave it there. So why not add that to your program? He and Bron are good friends. You get to stay in LA. You don't even have to move, right? You just basically go to the other locker room when you show up to crypto.com. So and Minnesota to me makes a little sense. I also wrote down Houston as sort of maybe alternative subplots here. But for me, my answer is the Los Angeles Lakers. Guys, we've been talking about Bron and Chris Paul maybe playing together for like 8 years, okay? We got Melo and Bron for like a minute. And I think it'd be cool to get Chris Paul and LeBron James playing together for a little bit before Chris Paul dips out. And he might get a ring, right? The Lakers might win the ring this year. So Chris Paul hasn't won a ring yet. Really, you want to finish your career in Clippers and go ringless for your career? Like, that's a guarantee. Even if they make the playoffs, the Clippers never win a dang thing. They're not winning anything this year. Come on. All right, so let's move on here on Beyond the Surface X-Rated Sports Network. B-Dot mentioned, was it B-Dot who mentioned Harden's 55? I believe it was. So this has got me thinking, guys. Is James Harden a top 5 all-time shooting guard? So let's dig into this. First of all, Harden against the Hornets, coincidentally, 55 points, made 17 of 26, and 10 of 16 threes. He had 27 points in the first quarter, 9 of 12. This was old school Houston Harden, okay? He's the first player in NBA history to hold the scoring record for 2 different franchises. Hit 61 with Houston, hit 55 with the LA Clippers. That's pretty cool. That's some goated stuff right there. So here's my top 5 shooting guards of all time. I do have to give you a disclaimer, especially for B-Dot, who's a guard, okay? I kind of look at Harden more of a point guard than a shooting guard, but Paul Pierce and Danny Green were debating this, so I'll just rock it this way. Let's call him a shooting guard for this exercise. Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time, so he's going to lead this list. Kobe Bryant's 5th on my overall board. He's 2nd on this list. Dwayne Wade is in the 11 to 20 range all time. 3 chips gives him the win to me over Jerry West, but that is a great debate. So I go Wade 3, Jerry West 4, and number 5, I'm thinking Harden, I'm thinking Drexler, I'm thinking Ray Allen, I'm thinking my boy Klay Thompson, but I'm going with Allen Iverson. This is resume. This is eye test. This is gut test. This is spilling a pint of blood out onto the court every night like few other players in NBA history have done. Harden's probably 6th or 7th for me on my shooting guard list, but he's not 5th. It's Iverson. That's my top 5 all-time shooting guards, and that's Cam's top 5 for this week. Let's go to B-Dot here for some reaction on that. Would you resort or recalculate that, B-Dot?
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers across America, let's stop playing games and get right into it, okay? Top 5 shooting guards of all time. And no, we're not debating like this in barbershop conspiracy theory. This is pure facts, okay? Number 1, I got Michael Jeffrey Jordan, okay? Ain't no shock. 6 rings, 6 final MVPs, 10 scoring titles. The man turned the mid-range jumper into a religion, okay? He is the standard by which all shooting guards are measured, okay? Can't even mention greatness without mentioning Jordan. Number 2, Kobe Bean Bryant, the Mamba. The closest thing we've ever seen to Jordan in mentally, footwork, skill set, pure obsession, etc. Okay, Kobe was out there shooting fadeaways like he was allergic to easy shots. Okay, 5 rings, 81 points, the blueprint for every young hooper trying to be a killer. Number 3, I got Dwayne Tyrone Wade, aka Flash, top 3 shot blocker all time among guards, 3 championships, carried Miami on his back in 06 like he was delivering UPS packages. Okay, he wasn't just athletic, he was clutch. He was fearless, and he was him before social media started using the word him. Number 4, I got Allen the Answer Iverson, okay? Pound for pound, the toughest basketball player ever. MVP, 4 scoring titles, changed the culture, changed the game, changed the dress code, okay? AI didn't just play basketball. He made the NBA cool. You can't tell a story of basketball without the answer. And number 5, James the Beard Harden. Okay, now listen. You may hate his antics. You can hate the step backs. You can hate the beard if you want, but you cannot hate the numbers, all right? 2018 MVP, these 3 scoring titles, one of the greatest offensive weapons in NBA history. He had people, Ricky Rubio, guarding him from behind so he wouldn't step back. He changed defenses for him to not step back. And he was still able to get 40, 30 a night. He revolutionized perimeter scoring, whether you like it, whether you like the style or not, okay? And yeah, I left off Clyde, I left off T-Mac, Reggie, Jerry, Vince. I get it. Respect to the legends. But this 5, this is the real list, okay? Jordan the GOAT, Kobe the artist, Wade the warrior, Iverson the cultural icon, Harden the offensive scientist. These are the top 5 shooting guards ever. By B-Dot. Certified, stamped, laminated. I'm done.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Like
B-Dot, you the man.
I like that.
By the way, the peanut gallery's buzzing, man. They love it when B-Dot drops in, man, and we love it too. Brandon Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. No, that was hot, dude. Dr. X, you next. Do you have a top 5? Would you tweak our list? Talk to me.
I would definitely tweak the list, and I know it's going to be a buzzkill, but James Harden is a point guard. I'm sorry. He's just a point guard. So, but the list, I love the list. Rick, you have to remind me of your list again, but I'm gonna edit B-Dot's list. So 100% agree. James Jeffrey Jordan. Jordan is definitely number 1. Then Kobe Bean Bryant number 2. Then I would say Dwayne Wade or Allen Iverson. I'm gonna go with Dwayne Wade because of the rings and definitely because of what he did in 06 when he won with Shaquille O'Neal. If that was the year, I'm not sure if that was the year again. But with the whole shot blocking thing, yeah, him leading the league in shot blocking or just in general, the NBA as one of the top shot blocking guards. And I think he's also a pretty good rebounding guard as well. So I'll go with Dwayne Wade as number 3. I agree with Allen Iverson as 4. And I'm just going to have to go with Tracy McGrady, man, as number 5, because just based off of what Kobe said about how tough Tracy McGrady was and how he almost felt like he was looking in the mirror sometimes. And I think Tracy McGrady was probably about 6'9", possibly. But, Tracy McGrady in his heyday, take away those injuries. I just feel like he and Harden are about equal. And the reason why I don't have Harden on the list, because I just don't think he's a shooting guard. He was a point guard. The usage rate is too high for him to be a shooting guard for me.
Doc, like I said, I totally agree. But I just kind of rocked with. But Paul Pierce is my guy, and so this is sort of Paul Pierce inspired a little bit too here. And I mean, Paul Pierce is calling him a shooting guard, right? Paul Pierce is a Hall of Famer, so there's something to it. But Doc, I'm with you. I kind of look at Harden more as a 1 than a 2. Dwight Walton, you're next, man. Do you have your top 5, or how would you tweak ours?
You see, I'm the complete opposite because I've always had this question in my mind: is Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Allen Iverson, are they point guards? Are they two guards? That's why this list for me is kind of fluid as far as I'm concerned, because for me, first of all, my list: Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Jerry West, James Harden. That's my 5. But in my mind, I keep on thinking of Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and Allen Iverson as two guards. And depending on how you feel about the cultural impact Allen Iverson had on basketball in terms of the hip-hop community, the black community overall, the dress code, the swag, all of that stuff, his stepping over Ty Lue in Game 1 of the NBA Finals back in 2001. That was a iconic performance. And you heard Doug Collins during the overtime of that Game 1. He thought the Sixers, particularly Allen Iverson, was dead in the water. But Allen Iverson, true to his form, showed up when his team needed him most. He had a great game overall that night, but they came away with a surprise Game 1 win in a finals to where we all thought the Sixers had zero chance. So just based on that, I could sneak Iverson into the top 5, but I just think the overall career of James Harden has him, for me, in the top 5. Again, we can question whether Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, or Allen Iverson are point guards or two guards, but for my money, my top 5 two guards of all time: Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Jerry West, James Harden.
Okay, so we go to A.M. Pfeffer. This is all inspired by Harden's 55-point game. I am curious. 2 of us have gone Jerry West. Two of us have not gone Jerry West. I'm curious if you are going to have Jerry West in, and it's not like it's wrong if you don't have him. I've got him at 4. Dwight's got him at 4. But A.M., I'm curious. Do you have West on your 5?
For the shooting guards, yes, I have Jerry West on my 5. He's number 5. AI's above him, Dwayne Wade 3. And if you want to debate between Wade and Iverson, I can understand the debate. We don't need to get into it here. But let me just finalize this for everybody. Let me just put the stamp on this, if I may. James Harden is not a top 5 shooting guard of all time. He's not a top 5 point guard of all time. He's probably not even a top 10 point guard of all time. And I think what we're missing here and not really discussing is there really is a third category that's not being discussed enough, and that is the notion of combo guard. Combo guard became a thing. Like, we're touching on it a little bit. We're talking around the conversation, but guess what? James Harden isn't a top 5 combo guard of all time either. Oscar Robertson would be ahead of him. Steph Curry qualifies as combo guard. Jerry West handled the point guard duties, and he, because of his ability to do both, is still better than James Harden. And I got to say, guys, we mentioned a lot of names, but the fact that we haven't kind of touched on George the Iceman Gervin at all, like his name didn't come up in conversation at all in retrospect, you know, I'm a little disappointed. But no, James Harden's great. And he falls certainly in the shooting guard, combo guard. He's definitely in the top 10. I'm not going to question that at all. I love James Harden. And there's a certain generation of people and fans who, if you just knew nothing about the history of the NBA, and you were like 2010 and to 2020 was it, man. And Dwayne Wade and James Harden were it. Okay, fine. You can be that person. But James Harden does not fall in any top 5 list.
Understood. Strong stuff, guys. Strong stuff. Now, speaking of strong stuff, the Oklahoma City Thunder, my good friends, are 17-1. The only team with a better start through 18 games. The 73-9 Golden State Warriors. I started when they got to about 10-1, 11-1. I'm like, are these dudes about to go 70 wins, 71, 72, 73, 74 wins? So the question is, will OKC go 74-8? It sounds like as I say that, I'm like, that's just stupid. To play 82 games and only lose 8. That doesn't make sense, right? Okay, but it might happen. We had a team go 73-9. We had a team go 72-10. Okay, could OKC lose one fewer game? All right, so let's go around the room here. I want Dwight Walton going first on this one, man.
Yes,
Especially
please.
with a mouthful of chicken. Perfect that you got
Go
right
ahead.
to it.
Oh, my bad. All right.
Cat got your tongue, Dwight? Cat got your tongue?
Good. You know what, Rick? Right now, the Thunder are on pace to go 77-5. Conversely, the Washington Wizards are on pace to go 5-77. Just a joke in there, but in all seriousness, I don't think the Thunder, as much as it would be great for them to go on that pace, based on historical evidence, I don't think it would be smart for the Thunder to win 70 games. Yes, they have a young roster. Yes, they feel they still have things to prove. They have a roster built for today's NBA. They're doing all of this without their second best player in Jalen Williams. I get all of that. It sounds cool to be in the same conversation as the 72-10 Chicago Bulls and the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. But the NBA playoffs are a grind, especially in this day and age to where the parity is unbelievable. We're talking about how great the Western Conference is and how competitive it is. But if you look at the overall in the Eastern Conference, there are more teams in the East over 500 than there are in the West. That just speaks to the parity. Yes, the Thunder are the, at this point, overwhelming favorite to win the NBA championship. Yes, it's going to be difficult for me to see any team in the NBA beating the Thunder 4 times in a 7-game series. I get all of that. But at the same time, you want your team to be at optimal peak strength when the playoffs start. You want them to be healthy, rested, gaining momentum, being on their optimum peak in terms of performance at that time of the year. Going through an 82-game grind to where there's going to be a lot of pressure on them as they approach the 70-win plateau. Every game is going to be on television. They're going to be asked about it. They're going to be questioned about it. That alone is a distraction, albeit a fun distraction, but at the same time, your physical and mental health is extremely important as you approach the playoffs. So my advice, albeit it will be a great thing to do, I wouldn't want to go for the record. The most important record is to win an NBA championship, and I think that's where the Thunder's focus should be, rather than trying to win 70 games, or at the very least, try to break the record of the Golden State Warriors and their 73-9 record.
Hey, B-Dot. Is OKC going 74-8?
I don't know about 74-8, but I think they can get to 70 wins, 68 plus. Just because I understand what Dwight is saying, but at the end of the day, this team is young. This team is freaking great, and they're not even fully healthy. You gotta understand, SGA, he's only played 7 fourth quarters out of this whole season. He's only played in 7 fourth quarters, and they've won 17 games. So if you want to say load management, if you want to say resting, he doesn't even need it because he's getting his resting and load management. He's getting the job done by that third quarter, so he can rest all he needs to in that fourth. Whoever they plug in, they're balling. AJ Mitchell, no one even knew about this guy before the season started. His first 10 games, he averaged dang near 15 plus points. I'm talking about for the average, not so typical NBA fan. This guy AJ Mitchell, they had him in the sports books for like 5.5 points, and he was averaging 15. So if you were betting on him, you made a lot of money. So with that being said, I think they will win 70 games, and if they want to go for that 74 mark, go ahead and go for it. I think they'll be perfectly fine going into the playoffs. They did their thing last year. They have a sense of how the playoffs are after winning their first title last season, and they're like, okay, this is what I can do better. This is what we need to do better. Shea didn't have a great finals appearance. It wasn't great at all. His shot selection was terrible. Percentage wasn't all that great, but he got the job done, and they won. So with that being said, I think they have a chance to win 74. but I think they'll be between the 65, 68 mark. Just bearing injuries. Hopefully, none of that does happen. But if they do stay healthy and want to go for that 74 wins, I think they can, just because they're not even fully healthy and they have the depth, the coaching, and the roster to do so.
Let's go to our LA studios, X-Rated Sports Network. The show is Beyond the Surface. AM, you first, and then Doc here. 74-8 for OKC.
Yeah, I actually see it. I really do. I don't know what's going on with this team. Dwight's right. There's no reason to do this in this day and age. There's no reason to absolutely try and punctuate and be the team in history, although it's cool to talk about. I mean, you should be saving yourself for the grind of the playoffs and all of that. But can this team do it, and will this team do it? I can absolutely see it. SGA doesn't want to lose. This dude is a killer. And to B-Dot's point, he's only played 7 fourth quarters. I mean, I say this with all affection. I want everybody to hear this right before I say it. This team, to me, is the epitome of why DC. And I actually use that term affectionately. What does that mean? Young, dumb, and full of, because it's like you just don't even know any better. And I think that that's a wonderful thing when you are absolutely out there crushing, the NBA. And it's not a lot of times when you have this opportunity with these players before the salaries are going to balloon and people got to get traded and all of this. They just don't know any better. Go for it if you guys want to do it, and they are going to be fine in the finals. Their average age, I think, is about a little over 25 years old, 25.3 years old. These guys are still young, man. I could see it. I could see him doing it.
Wow. All right, Doc.
Yeah. Well, I can totally see this going down this way. What I'm kind of concerned about is I don't think the West is as deep as we thought. It's literally OKC and everybody else. And the problem with that I'm seeing is, let's count the teams that we think can at least get one win off of them, right? And if you count the teams, I think the Lakers can get one win off of them, right? And I think they play 3 times, or do they play 4 times, right? So I'm not sure how often they play each team in their division versus their conference. But I think the Lakers can get one win off of them. I think the Denver Nuggets can get one win off of them. They already have 1 loss. Am I correct? And who is that loss to?
Portland.
And who is that to? Portland?
Portland.
Okay. And that it wasn't like it was a blowout or anything. So I don't think Portland's going to get another win off of them. So now they're up to 3 losses. I think Houston can get 1 off of them. And that's when I'm starting to struggle to find another team in the West that I think can get a win off of them. So that's what I'm saying. The West is not as deep as we think. Now, on the East Coast, I don't think there is, we would have automatically said the Celtics, but they only played twice, right? But the Celtics are not even relevant anymore. So I don't know which team. I guess Cleveland, maybe. Did they play already? So let's just give them 1. Maybe Orlando. I mean, who else? Who else in the East? Maybe the Knicks. Detroit, and the Knicks.
Toronto.
I don't think Shea's trying to lose to Toronto. He's going to be up for that game. So to answer your question, Rick, I only think each team will at least get 1 win off of them, the teams that I named, and that barely puts them at 8. So I agree with you. Yes, 74-8 it is.
Wow, our LA studio with Dr. X and AM, they are saying 74-8. All right, a lot to chew on here, a lot of great takes by you guys. I want to address a couple of things. I love that you guys made the points about the no fourth quarters. OKC, there's this whole thing where you got to go for it, right? And to a degree you do, right? But OKC doesn't. They don't. They're a machine. They're 17-1 without a top 20 player in the NBA, in Jalen Williams. They just show up and slaughter, and they go 3 deep. They've got third unit guys that can really, really play and never get any time. Ousmane Dieng, I like him a lot. Jalen Williams, every time he gets minutes, puts up a fat stat line. And these guys are hungry, right? So I don't think they need to go for it. I'm not saying you just put your sneakers on and you put your uniform on. No, I mean, there's more to it, but like they've got this league wrapped around their middle finger right now. They do. It's at this point, it's hard to see anybody beating them and winning this championship. Doc, I love the point you made about the West. The West isn't as dominant and thick as we thought it was going to be. I think somebody said there's no reason to do it. I think there is a reason to do it. Because if you are OKC, and maybe this is a media thing, I don't know if the ball players and the coaches and stuff are thinking about this, but you are right now on the ascent of a dynasty. You have a chance to be one of the best teams in NBA history, okay? We got the 60 Celtics with Russell. We got the Jordan Bulls. We got the Magic Lakers. We got the Bird Celtics, the Duncan Spurs. Like, all of these, like it's just household stuff. Like, everybody knows these guys. Everybody knows how many championships they have and have a lot of their resume memorized, okay? OKC needs to get greedy in that regard. We want to be one of those historic teams that 50 years from now, people are still going back to the OKC team of the 2020s with the great Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams and Chet and all these guys. There is a reason to do it, okay? And I know the Dubs failed, but that was an act of God. Okay, it's the only time in NBA history that a team has fallen into a 1-3 finals hole and gotten out of it. And I don't think it's going to happen again. You had the Draymond Green nut tap on LeBron James that got him a game, okay? And you had, obviously, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. They were a pair of tsunamis hitting shore in games 5, 6, and 7. Go back and look at their stats. Unfreaking believable. Both of them, like 40 points, 45 points, triple doubles, insanity. Okay, that was an act of God. I don't think that's going to be duplicated. And so OKC, I don't think they're worried about, we're gassing ourselves out. Guys, go to last year, not this year, last year's Oklahoma City team on basketballreference.com and look at the games played. Shed missed a million games. J-Dub missed a chunk. Hartenstein missed a million games. Caruso missed games. All these guys missed guys. I think Casey Wells might have played all 82. But a bunch of guys missed chunks last year. And they won 68 games, and they won the championship harder than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think Indiana was going to win 3 games off of them. They did. But I think there is something to go for here. If you have the most wins in a regular season in NBA history on your resume as a dynasty. So let's say OKC gets 3, okay? And then you put them up against like the Bird dynasty of the 80s when they got 3. Okay, which is better? Well, OKC won 74 games, Bird. What'd you do? Okay, like it can be a tipping point. And again, I don't know if ball players and coaches care about that, but I'm a media guy and I'm a historian and I care about that stuff. So good stuff, dudes, good stuff. Let's go into the XSN clinic with Dr. X. We go into the XSN clinic right now. Big news here, Doc. Tyler HERRO made his debut last night. And I want to talk with you about this in a little heat and Knicks here, okay? So Tyler HERRO underwent ankle surgery on September 19th. I mean, we're like 9 weeks out, man, Doc. 9 weeks out. Kind of impressive for me. I want your take on that. And so obviously the Heat are rolling. They had a league-leading 125 points per game going into the game with no Tyler HERRO the whole year. Miami's averaging $125 with no HERRO. That's insanity, okay? So here's some medical facts for you, Doc. HERRO dealt with an impingement in his left foot last season, then suffered an ankle injury during the offseason workout that led to the decision to have surgery. And in his debut last night, Doc, he had 24 points, 7 dimes, made 12 of 18, picked up right where he left off. So, Doc, talk to me about the most important ankle in Miami. And I'm not trying to rub it in here, but the facts are the facts. You see the scoreboard. The Heat are above your beloved Knicks in the standings right now. So how are you looking at both ankle for HERRO and the team they have down in Miami right now?
Yeah, I think it's very encouraging to see what happened with Tyler HERRO. I think they got ahead of it. They, just decided to have the surgery because it was more, I think, of a cleanup job opening. When you hear impingement, that just means that the space is narrowed wherever the nerves would be. And it just sounded like more of a cleanup job based on his recovery time, the fact that he was able to come back relatively quickly. I think you said the surgery was around September, Rick.
Yeah, September 19th.
Yeah, so that's like to October to November. So pretty much like a 2-month thing. So I'm glad that they got it out the way. But as I was saying earlier, the Heat are, to me, the surprise of the East Coast. No one was mentioning them. I mean, I knew personally that someone like Norman Powell added to that team was going to be huge for the Miami Heat. But I think, I'm not sure if he's on crazy minutes restrictions. He did at least 25 minutes yesterday, right? And he scored close to 20 points. What was his stat line? So I don't think he's on a minutes restriction that would hamper him. So the only thing I would look for is if he's going to play back-to-backs, which hopefully the NBA gets rid of that. That's so annoying because you would get your superstars playing more often if they would just at least get rid of back-to-back. So I think it'll be interesting to see how many games he plays or how many games he plays on if there's a back-to-back in the schedule to see if he plays that. But I don't think he's going to be hampered by minutes restrictions overall.
He played 29 last night, Doc. And I like what you said, the surprise of the East. And then another XSN Clinic thing I want to talk with you about is good news on Baker Mayfield. Sunday Night Football, he gets hit, little left shoulder thing, but he stayed in the game. And then as he's making a heave on the final play of the first half, like literally throwing, a 50, 60-yard pass, he just goes down and buckles in pain because of his left shoulder. So some type of contingent type of thing they're throwing with the right, the left shoulder is just screaming at you. The MRI revealed a low-grade AC joint sprain, Doc, in his left shoulder. No additional damage. There are no long-term injury concerns here. His status for this week's game down here in Tampa against the Arizona Cardinals remains uncertain. Teddy Bridgewater, remember him? He was out there finishing out that blowout loss to the Rams on Sunday. Good for Teddy B, still getting a check, man. I think he's in one of those NFL backup commercials too. But anyway, Doc, for Baker Mayfield, seen on the sideline with his left arm in a sling, and so that's kind of what we know about Baker Mayfield here. Based on that, Doc, AC joint sprain, low grade, non-throwing shoulder. Is it realistic that Baker plays this week or not?
When I saw the injury, the first thing I was worried about was the labrum. And then second thing I was worried about was whether or not this was going to be AC. Well, first off, a fracture of the clavicle. Thank God it wasn't that. And this was a grade 1. There's several grades when it comes to the AC joint. You deal with as many up to 7, sometimes even high as 14, depending on which classification system you're using. So grade 1 just really just means that there's slight swelling around the joint, possibly separation, but nothing is going to be going superiorly or inferiorly in relation to the clavicle. So I would say, number one, it's possible that he plays, but I wouldn't. I think they might be a little cautious, but with the season on the line, I think I'm not really sure, Rick, honestly speaking, whether or not he'll play with the AC joint sprain. But the good news is that it's a grade 1. And the fact that he was able to play so long within the game until he just threw the distance, I would say that's the most encouraging sign for me. And so it'll probably be like a game time decision. But for right now, I would say the most encouraging sign that people could take away from this is that he didn't have a fracture and it didn't lead to further injury. He was able to go and play at least through the third quarter. Am I correct with that? I think he was able to play into the second half.
I think he was ruled out at halftime. I'm past my notes here. He was doubtful to return after halftime, ruled out later in the third quarter. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So that's the most encouraging thing. It's not a weight-bearing joint, but he's going to have to throw some balls some distance. So maybe they kind of put him in spots. Maybe he plays the red zone. Maybe he does short passes only. And so we'll see how it plays out.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Now, we're going to go around the room with this topic, but we're going to start it with Dwight Walton and Dr. X, because we are now going to talk about Wendell Carter Jr. And it got spicy on the group chat. We're going to bring it to the air right now, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, Carter screen on Shamet, chippy or dirty? And I'll let Dwight Walton get the first swing at the pinata here, Doc. But the Carter screen on Shamet, chippy or dirty, Dwight Walton?
To me, it's neither. And the only reason we're discussing this topic is because my cousin Phil McDonald, Dr. X, is a New York Knicks fan. And this goes back to several games ago when Wendell Carter Jr. allegedly went purposely at the ankle or the feet area of Jalen Brunson in Madison Square Garden. That's the only reason this is the topic. Wendell Carter Jr. is not going to put a target on his back by having a reputation of trying to injure players on purpose. At the end of the day, the NBA, the professional sports in general, is a fraternity amongst men. These guys understand that this is how they make their living, this is how they butter their bread, this is how they pay their mortgages, their car notes, their medical bills. They are not trying to put that in any danger by putting a target on anyone's back. Can we deem these plays reckless? Sure. Chippy, dirty? No. I would classify them more reckless and also unfortunate. Wendell Carter Jr. is not out there trying to injure anybody. It's unfortunate that Landry Shamet's shoulder that was injured in last season's preseason back in October of 24 is the same shoulder. That's why it's discouraging. He was off to a terrific start as a bona fide role player for Mike Brown and his new system with the New York Knicks. And Jalen Brunson has always had ankle issues, not just because of Wendell Carter Jr. This goes back throughout the last couple of years of his career. So by no means is Wendell Carter Jr. a chippy nor dirty player. These plays could be deemed reckless at the most, dirtiness or chippiness in regards to Wendell Carter Jr.
Doc.
I 100% disagree with Dwight Walton, and all I have to do is just point to one single thing. What was Wendell Carter Jr. doing when Landry Shamet walked off the court, grabbing his shoulder? Like, whenever you see that, you're walking off the court and you're not even moving. You're just going like this. You're just walking off the court like that. The first thing you're thinking of is a shoulder dislocation, right? You're thinking of Kevin Love with Kelly Olynyk.
Right.
You're thinking of most recently Julius Randle. Well, Dwight, to my point, you're trying to say that this is a big fraternity. It's kumbaya. No one's trying to mess up anybody's money. No one's trying to do this. No one's trying to do that. But ultimately speaking, if you see someone clapping and happy that someone had to leave the game, you have your answer there. So you might be happy that you hit like a screen and you hurt the person. But if he goes into the locker room holding his shoulder and you're still happy, come on. The only thing you should be doing in that place is like saying, okay, that's like an offensive foul or a defensive foul, and you're mad at the ref. But you shouldn't be clapping that you injured a player. Usually what happens is the fans are usually saying, okay, they're like waiting. They're like, oh, I hope he's okay. And if you're in a away gym and you see like, you actually see like the fans are waiting to see that he gets carted off and you start clapping that he's able to walk off, that's usually encouragement to say we're happy that you're not, paralyzed or hurt. But the fact that he was clapping says it all, Dwight. It says it all.
All right, let's go to B Dot next. Oh, that got good. B Dot, come on, B Dot. We have polar opposite sides right here. Where are you at?
I don't think it was dirty at all. And the simple fact, the reason why I don't think it was dirty is because when you're trying to intentionally hurt somebody or make a statement, you're not going to fall with the screen. If you get screened, he moved his leg out a little bit. But that's every screen Draymond does. That's every screen Jalen Duran does. And if I'm trying to set an example or make some noise, I'm going to screen a dude that is much smaller than me, not fall and just look over him like this. Like, I'm not going to screen and flop with it and say that it was an intention. I don't think it was intentional at all. I don't know if Wendell was clapping because Shamet got the offense. It was a defensive foul or offensive foul or whatever, or it was just early in the game. He was trying to, make a point of saying, hey, we about to put our foot down. But I know Wendell personally. I don't think it was dirty at all. I don't think not on Landry Shamet of all the players. Now, if you're setting a screen or you're doing something on Karl Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson, a pivotal person for that team, then yeah, you'd be like, okay, that may be dirty. But no,
Let me
Wendell
respond
doesn't
to
have
that.
any history. Do your thing, 21.
Yeah, I think the issue with that is that he kind of threw stones and hit his hand, so that's why he fell back. He was just like he wanted to make it look like he was ran into and that it was an issue. That's why there was no reason for him to fall because he initiated contact this way, and that was enough for him to go forward. But he tried to play it off by falling back. But the other thing is that it's the body of work. It's not the fact that this just happened. Like if I just saw this screen and that was the reason why he went, that was the only thing we're acknowledging or we're evaluating, I would say yes. But it's the body of work. It's what he's been doing last year. It's the Celtics responding to the Orlando Magic team in general that, if you want to put the gloves on or you want to take the gloves off, whatever was happening, they were stating that this was going to be a physical series and we're up for it. So I just feel like they're getting rewarded. I don't think there's a bounty. I don't think it's that, but they're actually probably clapping up to the fact that, okay, you're playing physical. You're getting rewarded for doing that. This is like people are diving recklessly. There was also a Clippers game where I think someone was diving at one of the Clippers, for the ball. Like, yes, you want your players to hustle, but that's reckless. And so these guys are getting rewarded and getting clapped up. But to me, the biggest thing, and Rick, if you can confirm that this is true, because I'm going off of you saying that Wendell Carter Jr. was clapping when he saw Landry Shamet walking into the locker room.
Well, I didn't say that. Other members of our panel have said that. That is, yeah. So I don't know anything about that.
Footage? Is there footage of Wendell Carter Jr. clapping to the fact that he
This is what I saw. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's what I saw right there. I'm like I give that to you guys. I'm unaware of Wendell Carter clapping. I didn't see that personally. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I didn't see it.
We see this play every day, every night in the NBA. Steven Adams does this play every no, I don't think it's.
So what about the Jalen Brunson? What about the Jalen Brunson play where he moved his body out the way and he put his foot in the landing zone? The same thing that Bruce Bowen would do, the same thing that Zaza Pachulia would do. So like let's just say, look, the NBA had dirty players in the past, and it's still currently present there, and I think Orlando is trying to carry that mantle.
Doc, I play basketball every day. I play basketball every day. I shoot. I don't drive to the paint. I shoot majority of the time. A lot of the times, I'm going to land on someone's foot, and it's not intentional. It's just a natural closeout. No one is literally trying to stick their foot Zaza Pachulia under someone's landing spot. It's not. I don't
close out on a layup. You don't close out in a layup. That's the point. So if you see the play, I don't know if you guys can get that clip, but Wendell Carter Jr. closed out on a layup. He moved out the way and stuck his foot out. He stuck his foot out on the landing zone. That's a total.
No.
Dwight, he stuck his foot out. It was clear as day. And I'm not the only one saying that it's dirty. Look in the comments everywhere.
The fans are saying it's dirty. Nobody else?
So there's no dirty players in the NBA currently?
I just said it was dirt. Not dirty, dirt.
So we have no dirty players in the NBA.
I thought it was an unnatural leg movement by Wendell Carter Jr. As you're trying to get out of the way up top, you're sticking out your left foot down below. And we talked about this. I called it a dirt play. Is it all the way dirty? No. Dirty is Draymond Green stomping on Domantas Sabonis' guts. That's dirty. Okay, this is not dirty. It's dirt though, or chippy.
No.
And to Doc's point, if you're a Knick fan, and we got 1+1 here with the same dude knocking two of my guards out. So I understand the venom from Doc's point. But that's all I got here. I want to get it back to B. Dot and Dwight and Doc. You guys are rolling.
Hold on a second. Based on the tenor of how sports are today, if those two plays were dirty, don't you think teams would have, both players on both teams would have gotten together in some sort of scrum? Brunson went down, and the Knicks players did nothing. Nothing. Landry Shamet went down, and the players did nothing because they didn't think anything of it. It's a basketball play. Again, it might be deemed reckless, but to call it dirty? No. Trust me, if the Knicks players thought what Wendell Carter did to Brunson was dirty, their alleged best player, they would have jumped him immediately. But they didn't do that.
And that's why he's smarter than you expect. So I think Wendell Carter Jr. is very smart in causing harm and then trying to hide his hands. So just keep an eye out. All I'm saying is that he's building a body of work, and he has a library right now for me. So every time you see him play, just watch out for the little things he does. Because back in the day, there's other players I can name right now. Matthew Dellavedova, he would, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But after a while, players started to be like, yo, bro, what are you doing? You get what I'm saying? He started diving at the ball.
He would roll up into legs all the time. Dellavedova was dirty as heck, man.
I'm gonna say one more thing, and
he would act like he was innocent. He would act like he was innocent. That's the only thing I'm saying right now is that I believe that Wendell Carter Jr. knows how to inflict harm and then act like he's innocent. And I'm watching him. I see you, kid.
I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna let AM get his take in on that Wendell Carter Brunson play. Brunson's one of the quickest players in the NBA. He's coming full speed. He's doing a short Euro step. When Wendell realized, okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to defend this, he tries to pull out the way. It's like it's clear as day. Wendell didn't intentionally stick his leg out for Brunson to get injured. He tries to move out the way. Brunson is so quick, bro. He didn't fool me, man. You
because he moved out the way. It's actually like those guys that like trick people. You move out the way and you put your leg out in the back, and so like they don't think you're trying to trip them, but you just put your leg out in the back. That's all he did. And as I'm pulling my hands,
you want to know who's dirty? I'll tell you who's dirty. I'll tell you who's chippy/dirty. John Stockton, Chris Paul. Those guys are chippy.
Draymond, anyone? Hello.
Draymond Green.
John Stockton, who else?
John Stockton, Chris Paul, Draymond Green, those guys.
Give me one example.
Dylan Brooks.
You. So give me one example.
I like Dylan Brooks, but Dylan Brooks, pardon me, Doc, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, give me one example so I can understand what you deem as dirty, Dwight. Give me one example of any one of those players. Like Stockton, for instance. I don't remember. Yeah, give me one example.
John Stockton in the NBA Finals. There's a blatant replay where a player on the Bulls is going over a screen. Stockton sticks his hip out. It's called trying to bump the screener or bump the cover.
That all the time. So you're saying that's dirty?
Of course.
You're saying that's dirty. Okay, so you're pretty much saying that Karl Anthony Towns is a dirty player because he doesn't know how to set the screen. He always sticks his hip out. So what's the difference with Wendell Carter Jr. waiting for the contact to happen and then leans in with his shoulder?
Because that's not what he did.
So you're calling a hip check dirty, but you're not calling a shoulder check dirty.
Okay,
come on, Dwight. Come on, that was intentional then. No one stays. You either stay still and you try to play it off and stick your hip out. That's not dirty. Going like this with his shoulder, that's dirty. No one says things like that.
That's not what he did.
Come on, Dwight. You can't bring up John Stockton and
Kevin Garnett is a dirty player. Kevin Garnett is a dirty player.
No,
his whole career is these type of screens. We can have a whole compilation on YouTube. It's called the Kevin Garnett screen. His whole career is this type of screen.
All right, so he's a dirty player. Yeah, he's a dirty player.
Go AM. See what you got to say.
Please explain here. Before I lose
so
my
hip
mind.
check is dirty? Wait. B-Dot. Do you agree a hip check is dirty then?
A hip check? If you're constantly sticking your leg out like doing it purposely?
Or B-Dot, Robert Ory's hip check on Steve Nash, which changed NBA history, by the way. Was that a dirty play?
Yep. Yes.
That's a dirty play. Yes.
That was
I agree. I love Robert Ory, but that was a dirty play.
I
Don't
agree.
try
I
to
just wanna
don't
clarify
try to
that.
quote for Karl Anthony Towns talking about he don't know how to set screens. That man 30 years old. No, he know how to set screens. He know how to set screens. He just clumsy and he can't defend, and he always end with 4.9
Oh,
fouls at the end of the
He's
game.
always, he's always hooking. He's always hooking people. He's doing all
Come
that
on, man.
stuff.
Go,
He's slick with
AM,
it.
my bad. Get a word in, AM. My bad. And we
Go ahead,
hogging
AM.
it up.
Okay. First of all, John Stockton was dirty. Let's just get that out of the way. So we need to understand that. And besides Draymond, the other dirtiest guy I could possibly think of in the history of the league is probably Patrick Beverley. Name hasn't been mentioned yet.
Yep.
But here's the thing. In today's NBA, especially the last 5, 6, 7 years, it feels like the dirt, or even the little Y I was talking about the other day, has been taken out of the game. So it's very interesting and weird to kind of see it. I mean, besides, again, Draymond, who's now at the tail end of his career, or Dylan Brooks, who is still, quote-unquote, a dirty player, though I haven't seen it as much in the last year or two, and maybe you guys have, and you can give some examples. I haven't seen it. But Wendell Carter is veering into the wrong kind of territory in the past couple of weeks. I just want to say it like it was. That was an unnatural move he did on Jalen Brunson, and he absolutely jutted his shoulder out in that play against Shaman. He's an aggressive guy, but again, I want to put this in perspective that in today's NBA, especially the last half decade, you're not seeing anything that is quote-unquote dirty anymore. But Wendell Carter Jr. has now been involved in 2 different plays in a very short amount of time where 2 different Knicks players have been hurt. That's all I'm going to say about that.
You know what? Hold on. The New York Knicks better buckle up because the Detroit Pistons are going to beat them up. The Orlando Magic are going to beat them up. The Toronto Raptors are going to beat them up. All right?
I disagree with that.
Cavaliers. There's a reason why Cleveland doesn't win. Cleveland, to me, is one of the softer teams we have in the NBA. Detroit brings the wood. Orlando brings the wood. Toronto brings the wood. There's teams in the Western Conference that bring the wood. The Thunder, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Rockets, all these teams bring the wood. So if the New York Knicks fan base are going to complain, if you've noticed, the NBA is slowly getting back to physical contact being allowed more often than not. We could talk about the fouls that are being drawn, whether we think they're foul baiting or whatever the case may be. Yes, free throw attempts are up across the NBA. That's understood. But all this talk about dirty play, there is no dirty play in the NBA. There may be some reckless examples, but that's it. And to pigeonhole Wendell Carter Jr. into this conversation makes 0 sense to me. Those plays were not dirty, weren't chippy. I think they're more accidental than anything else. But because we have a Knicks fan on the panel, we're having this discussion.
Quick question.
First off,
AM.
Dwight.
AM. You're a New York Jets fan?
You got to tell the world? I mean, I'm trying to hide this.
I had to find a correlation between you and
I'm
Doc.
a proud Jets fan. Talk to me. I'm a proud Jets fan.
So
Talk to me.
New York, and New York. There it is, right there, Dwight. That's what that there. That's
We
the next
know
segment.
this. Yes.
I just had to make
So
sure.
There are no coincidences, my friend, in the universe. Wendell Carter Jr. has now been involved in 2 massive injury plays in as many weeks.
It's the Orlando Magic in general.
Yeah, it
it's
is
Orlando
what it
Magic
is.
in
And by
general.
the way, Dwight, you could say that the Knicks are soft and that they're not going to compete with Detroit and they're not going to bang bodies. Well, I mean, by the way, and it's fine, but I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to be here like that Knicks fan and be like, no, Dwight, you're wrong. And that's all fine. It's fine that they're not going to do that. We're talking about an isolated individual who made a couple of plays, who's veering into the wrong territory in a time and place in the NBA when it just doesn't exist anymore. Aggression is one thing, okay, but you look at both of those plays, and both times there were, quote-unquote, unnatural acts that happened with his body, and 2 guys got hurt. It's as simple as that, and we're making it
Landry
a much
got
bigger
soft
deal.
shoulders. Landry got soft shoulders. I've seen him in a massage chair before. He can't even take none of that, man. Man.
All right, I got to bring up a couple of dudes here. I'm not a Grayson Allen guy because remember when he yanked Alex Caruso out of the air? Caruso came down and like broke his wrist, right? It doesn't get dirtier than that. I mean, literally pulled him down. Caruso's like head first going into the hardwood, like, and Grayson Allen tripping all the dudes in college. You remember that, right? So that's a dirty player. Bill Laimbeer. How has he escaped this conversation to this point? That cat was
too obvious.
dirt. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame of dirt, man. I'll tell you that right now. I know what you guys are waiting for right here. You're waiting for me to play the Rick Mahorn card. I ain't playing a Rick Mahorn card. Rick Mahorn's my guy. I love Rick Mahorn. By the way, I made a kind of a throwaway, like the Bad Boys, right? They just had this dirty reputation, right? And I mentioned that word to Rick on the air, and it was almost like I said it matter-of-factly. It wasn't even like a segment. We weren't even really on the topic. And he stopped me, and we're dear friends, but he stopped me, and he's like, no. We weren't dirty. And so he has, and I didn't really agree with everything he said right there, but I certainly nodded my head and agreed with him on the air. It's Rick Mahorn, okay? The guy could squash me like a little grape. But no, I love Rick, but he has a different view on that whole dirty thing. And it's probably because he's been called a dirty player for the last 50 years, right? Since the bad boy era back in the 80s. So he's probably kind of over it at this point. So I'm going to leave Rick Mahorn out of this. But I'm not leaving Laimbeer out of this, okay? We got to bring him in on this. All right, final word here, guys. Draymond, okay, like, let's talk about the screen of what Wendell Carter Jr. did. I think it's chippy, not dirty. I do not think it's dirty, okay? I've seen way worse than what Wendell Carter Jr. did. It was not egregious, okay? The foul was called on Shamet. No flagrant foul on Wendell Carter. And so the foul was on Shamet. Carter didn't even get a foul called on him, let alone a flagrant. So I empathize with Knicks fans, right? Losing Shamet, he's rolling, it sucks. You have the same guy here in harm's way with Brunson and Shamet. Like, I completely acknowledge that. And I'm listening, okay? But my take is this is chippy, not dirty. It's chippy, not dirty. And I'm not ready to call Wendell Carter Jr. a dirty player because I haven't seen a dirty play yet. I saw a dirt play with Brunson. I saw a chippy play with Shamet. Dirt plus chippy does not equal dirty, okay? Now, 3 weeks from now, if he trips some dude or does something crazy, like, we can come on back in here and have a different conversation. But right now, let's move on to the AM Money Minute. AM, you were so patient during that debate. Let's tee you up with your segment. I can't wait to get into this as we debut it here on Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. What's up, AM?
What's happening, gentlemen? Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. And thank you, Rick, for the segue. Let's do it. Let's get to it. I think it's important, as we are beyond the surface, to deep dive into some finances, some business, some money. That's why we're doing it. You know, the sports is about money. We all know that. Let's just call it like it is. And I think our audience wants to hear this. So we're going to come out with a bang this week. I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to pose this question to the audience. What is the biggest long-term liability, AKA debt, on an NBA balance sheet, on an NBA team's balance sheet? Is it A, player contracts, B, the next 5 years of travel costs, for the 82 games we've got, or C, the mascot's medical bills? I'll give you the answer. It's actually D, the arena, okay? Oh, the debt that the arena creates. Players, coaches, GMs, they come and go, but arena debt lasts for decades. And here's the really interesting thing about the debt. This liability actually boosts the value of an NBA team. This is the interesting part. This is the business. This is the AM Money Minute that I want to talk about, okay? Because there's three categories that the arena debt falls into. First, you've got private. And the examples of private debt out there are the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Chicago Bulls, okay? So essentially, that's NBA team owned. They own their own arena. It's private money that was done with this. and the way the capital was raised, and again, the long-term liabilities and the loans against it. Then there's, of course, publicly owned, right? Where the city, or quote unquote, the fans own the arena. This is the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Orlando Magic, New Orleans Pelicans, okay? And then obviously there's a hybrid between the two. Some team-owned private debt and then sub-public funds. Examples of that are the Milwaukee Bucks, the Detroit Pistons, and the Sacramento Kings. Okay, but how is it that an NBA team has skyrocketed in value using debt on their balance sheet? Well, think of it like this. In the private arena, the NBA teams, they create their own corporate structures to pay themselves rent, right? So one corporate structure owns the team, another corporate structure owns the arena. And when you have a piece of real estate, you're able to depreciate it on your taxes, okay? You're able to use it as a cash cow where you are paying yourself rent and generating revenues. Publicly speaking, when it's a public arena, interestingly enough, the NBA teams, because of the deals they made to keep the team in the city and have the arena, even though it's publicly owned, they're going to get the value and all of the money and the concession money and the ticket sales. And even when they rent out the arenas for other events and concerts and whatnot, right? And then the hybrid, kind of the same thing here, where again, the tax liability is kicked down the line and you're able to depreciate the asset, whether you own it partially privately and partially public. But again, even though it's debt on your balance sheet, the NBA teams use this to leverage, to make their money, and sometimes to hold the cities hostage. So what are we getting at here? It's interesting to know that that is how NBA teams have inflated their value, especially over the past few decades, why everything has skyrocketed into the billions. This happens across all the major sports. But just think of it. The biggest debt on the balance sheet is the arena, and the teams and the owners know how to leverage that arena to inflate the value and go well into the billions of dollars. Thank you very much. That's been today's AM Minute. I'll hold the floor open if anybody's got questions or comments or if they want to add to that.
That's sweet.
And if I want to say, you mentioned the mascots as one of your 4 or 5 on the list.
Yeah, mascot medical bills.
Okay, so I want to bring up an interesting fact here. I was on Instagram a day or two ago, and I saw these 2 guys were discussing the top 5 salaries for mascots in the NBA. Are you willing to guess, maybe not the mascot, but what do you think a mascot would make during an NBA season? And I pose this not only to AM, but the entire panel.
I'm going to say the Coyote down in San Antonio. He's my personal favorite. He's been there a million years. I would say Rocky in Denver's number 2 for me, but is the Coyote the highest paid, Dwight? Do you know that?
Oh, okay, so I'll go from 5 to 1. And when I heard the salaries, I was like, I'm in the wrong business. But I will say this. So at number 5, it's Hugo the Hornet of the Charlotte Hornets. He makes $100,000 for an NBA season. At number 4, it's Go the Gorilla of the Phoenix Suns at $400,000 per year. At number 3, or number 2, sorry, this is the top 4, excuse me. At number 2, at number 3, it's Benny the Bull of the Chicago Bulls at $400,000. At number 2, it's Harry the Hawk of the Atlanta Hawks. He makes $600,000 for the year. And
good for him.
At number 1, Rocky of the Denver Nuggets makes $625,000 per year as the mascot.
And don't got to say a word.
That is, listen now, it is difficult work to be in that uniform all game and to have to be entertaining for 2.5, 3 hours is not easy. Right now, my current favorite mascot on any level is the mascot of the New York Liberty. I forget the name, but whoever's in that, I'm assuming it's a woman. whomever's in that mascot uniform is fantastic. She is entertaining from jump ball to the end of the game. She's fun to watch. I forget the name of the mascot, but to me, for my money, she's the most entertaining mascot in pro sports right now. But those are the top 5 salaries for I guess the more popular mascots currently in the NBA.
Hey Dwight, I
good
can
for
see
them,
you
man.
being a mascot. I can see Dwight being the mascot for the Toronto Raptors, eating chicken wings in the costume.
I love it, and disagreeing with you, Doc, too. Don't forget that. That's on the itinerary as well. That's on the itinerary as well. Guys, I want to talk about last, I guess, basketball topic here. The Derek Queen steal. I'm super fascinated to hear what you guys have to say about this. So, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, I think it was over the weekend, Hawks trying to run out the clock. They're bludgeoning the Pelicans. And Derek Queen, who I love, goes Grand Theft Auto. I think it was Jalen Johnson who had the ball. I don't remember. Gets the Grand Theft Auto steal, runs down, dunks the ball in the closing seconds. Game was already over. Some of the Hawks players, I think Veit Krejci had a problem with it, and everybody was like, Veit, it should be happier in the NBA, dude. I mean, what are we, an enforcer? Come on, bro. I have no problem with this. There is still time on the clock. Go ball out. There's this unwritten rule, guys, about running out the clock in both football and basketball, and I do not subscribe to it. If you can't stop me from scoring, then that's on you. Let's go to college football for a minute, guys. Alabama versus insert little team that couldn't hear. Bama's 4th string is in the game in the 4th quarter because they're up 60-10. Am I supposed to tell my guys to take a knee, or am I supposed to play it straight with my 4th string who never, ever plays, and we run the ball every single time. We bleed clock, but here we are, 30 seconds left, knocking on the door. I'm going to hand it off to Richardson. Boom, he pounds through for it. Only touchdown he's going to score this year because he never plays. And the other coach is going to want to punch me as I go to shake his hand after the game, okay? Let's go to the NBA. Closing seconds, game decided. Dude decides to go score the rock instead of dribbling it out, to the boredom of everyone if you dribble it out. And every time the other team starts woofing and posturing and pointing fingers, and it's such bull crap to me. You're up by 20, you got the win in your back pocket, and a dude from the other team wants to pad some stats. Who cares? Like, literally, who cares? You won the game, stop complaining, go get a shower, and hustle up to the club. That's where your head should be at that time. Okay, so B-Dot, you first. Did you have a problem with Derek Queen's steal?
No, not at all. Ever since I was a little kid, I was always told to play to the whistle. Play till you hear the whistle, okay? Play till it's 0-0-0 on the clock. I can't stand. That's the most weakest NBA sports rule ever, man. You play to that buzzer in, man, and that's what old boy get. Now you got a turnover. Now you got a turnover on your hands because you think everybody gonna be all kumbaya, man. No, man. Like, I'm trying to get my points. I'm trying to get my stats. I'm trying to get my extra reps. You got to guard that ball. I'm not holding the ball until the clock over, man. No, I'm gonna get me a shot attempt up, and until that clock hits 0-0-0, you about to get the best of me. So no, I can't stand that gentleman's rule in the NBA. Look, man, wasn't wrong at all. Derek Queen, you a rookie. You get your points. You get your stats. Okay, the last 10 games you've been balling. So if somebody want to slip up and turn your back on you, go ahead and steal his cookies and go deliver it to that basket. Can't stand, man.
Hey, B-Dot.
I'm with you.
Hey, B-Dot, you know, I know you listen to Stacey King. I love it when he goes, cookies! Nom, 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 nom. You know, when it's like a steal and a run out with the Bulls games? Stacey King's the best, man. The best. With the hot shot. He goes, what's the Sanford and Son thing? Elizabeth, having the big one. Oh, my God, Stacey King. We love that guy. We love that guy. All right, let's go around the room here. Dr. X, you're next. Did you have a problem with Derek Queen's steal?
No, I see it through different lenses, though. So, like, if you want to ruffle some feathers and you want to, like, you know, just, like, cause a fight or anything, that's one sure way to do it, you know. But to B-Dot's point, number one, you play to the whistle. Number two, you don't turn your back. most of the time you see the point guards when they have it, they're like, they're dribbling out. If the guy tries to, steal, they'll sometimes play, like this game, but you never turn your back. So I think he was just like, oh, you got to turn your back, then it's free game. But the other layer to this is the in-season tournament. You actually have to play to the whistle because those things matter. They actually matter when it comes down to it with the point differential and all that stuff. So I think it should be a rule now where the point differential stuff matters so that people do play to the whistle. To your point, Rick, it is boring to watch them dribble it out for 24 seconds, and most people have left already by that time. But who wants to see that? So I'm okay with, hey, if you want to disrespect the game or disrespect your opponent and turn your back, then you might get ripped. It might be cookies, and it's entertaining for everybody. So now we're actually talking about it. Now we're actually seeing the highlights, and I think it's funny to ruffle the guys' feathers who were up by 20 if you're down, so that's the only way you could probably get back and get your lick back.
Oh, I like that. Taking a little bite out of the team that just rolled you. That's an awesome point, Doc. Dwight Walton, you're next.
This is not 100% wrong. This is 1,000% wrong. There's a reason why. You're not trying to show up your opponent. Everybody assumes that the game is over. This was a 1,000% selfish play by Derek Queen. Everybody stop playing. This is whether the rule is written or unwritten. We see teams all the time take turnovers. Why do you think Muhammad Gay was chasing down Derek Queen? He wanted to take, you talking about a dirty play? He wanted to take Derek Queen out. And what got me upset, your boy, Rick, Antonio Daniels, going off on Krejci, I believe the player on the Hawks, that was upset about the play. Had this been on the other foot, I can guarantee you AD would have been saying something about the Hawks going to the basket and the game already over. It's an unwritten rule. It's been this way all the time. Just a week prior, my Dallas Cowboys could have run the score up against the Las Vegas Raiders, but they went into victory formation with like 4 minutes left. They didn't want to show. I guess there's a relationship between Brian Schottenheimer and what's the coach's name for the Seahawks? Pete Carroll. There's a relationship there. So he didn't want to show up his mentor or his former coach from back in the day. So this has been going on for decades. I never understand why do you want to steal the ball and go down to the other end? You're asking yourself to get injured. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, I guarantee you Antonio Daniels would have been up in arms, huffing and puffing, along with Joel Myers going crazy. How could the Hawks do this? They're already up by 25, so on and so forth. This was 1,000% wrong. This is the way professional sports at all levels has always been. You don't rub it into your opponent. And if Derek Queen was injured on that play, I wouldn't be celebrating it, but I would have understood it. That's why Muhammad Gay was chasing him down to hit him. I don't blame that.
It's funny too. I love that.
Soft. We done seen baseball scores 20. We done seen baseball scores 26-2. When the baseball team up 12-2, we don't see nobody bunting or taking sacrifice strikeouts. Man, I ain't trying to hear that play.
Doc, you know how this goes. Come on, Doc. Everybody stop playing.
And I don't like it, Dwight. But y'all are the professional OGs. Y'all play at the highest level, so y'all got better insight than I do. These guys are young. Look, man, you got the trash squad in. Get your buckets, get your points, man.
I have mad respect for you, Doc. You play ball at a high level too. So I mean, I understand what you're saying, but this has been like this in sports forever. Come on now. Come on, man.
I understand it. I know. I understand it. I just don't like it, but I respect it. You won't see me do it, Dwight. Now, I wouldn't say I would do it. I'm taking that turnover and I'm letting them. I'm letting the clock go out. But hey, man, he young.
Fair enough. But I respect what you just said. 100%.
I wouldn't do it, but yeah.
Hey, come on in here, man. Were you a fan? Did you have a problem with Derek Queen's steal?
March 16th, 2003.
AM, no, I love AM.
What happened on March 16th, 2003? Wrong way, Ricky Davis was one rebound away from a triple-double and shot at his own basket to pad his stats. That I had a problem with. But Dwight, the disrespect that you're talking about happened when the guard dribbling the ball turned his back.
Yep.
That is disrespectful. Derek Queen had every right to go for the steal and punctuate the idea that you don't do that to me and my team because you just waxed us by 20. If it was a straight up dribble where he's literally looking him in the eye and Derek Queen did that, that's on Derek Queen. That would not be okay. But the disrespect happened when the Pelicans were getting killed in that game and you turned your back on them to dribble out the ball. I got no problem with that, what Derek Queen did. I like what he did. Don't ever forget what wrong way Ricky Davis did over 20 years ago. That was not okay.
I remember that.
Can we talk about Ricky Davis for a minute, man?
Yeah,
I was a fan of his game. I mean, Ricky Davis was a dog, a bucket getter. He could defend a little bit. Like, he was a heck of a player, man. I liked him. I like the dog that he brought the most. Guys, I'm pretty sure you guys remember. He had a problem taking a backseat to LeBron James.
LeBron James. Yep, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
You guys remember that? Like, he made a whole thing about it, and LeBron's the number one. I'm the number one. And, like, as a ball player, you have to think that way, right? Even be a little delusionally confident and stuff like that. But it was like even like that layer, and then you go beyond. It's like, Ricky, like, we love you, but we can't work with this out here. Of course you're going to acquiesce to LeBron James. Guess what, guys? I think he was traded at that deadline.
Yeah, he was.
They got him up out of there. They might have brought in Larry Hughes on that transaction. I can't remember, but I'll never forget Ricky Davis had a problem acquiescing to LeBron, which actually, it's kind of a good look for Ricky. I mean, that's a confident mofo. If you're like the most hyped player, and has there been a football player as hyped as LeBron James? I don't think so. Like, the most hyped athlete in American history, and you don't want to acquiesce to him and be his Robin. That was just funny to me. But shout out to Ricky Davis, man. That dude could go. All right, let's move on to some picks. We got, guys, it's Tuesday. Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday. Super psyched about that. We get to sit around, eat some food, hang out with all the people we love, and watch football, baby. There's also the Players Era Festival, college basketball tournament that's in Vegas right now, and it's a big, big deal. But let's get into our Thanksgiving picks. AM Pfeffer, you first here. Packers 7-3-1 at Lions 7-4. This is the first game of the day, and it is a heck of a game.
I'm not sure what's happened to the Packers, but they really have fallen off the cliff without Tucker Kraft. They just don't seem to be able to throw the ball downfield. Jordan Love is not putting up over 150 yards per game. Detroit, I mean, the grit to come back in that Giants game and win it in OT, and now they're at home, and this is their day, their holiday. They've been disrespected for decades on it. I'm going Detroit at home. I feel them winning, and I feel them winning somewhat big.
Let's keep it LA style. Doc, who you got, man?
I agree with AM. I'm going to go with Detroit. I think Detroit is going to win in that game. Usually they are the bane of every Detroit fan's existence on Thanksgiving Day. And, I think the Lions have turned it around the last couple of years, and I think they're going to come away with the win.
B-Dot, you're up.
Going with the Lions. Detroit. I mean, more reason because they're my defensive fantasy team. So, I got to go with Detroit all the way. I like them in general. I love Jared Goff. He's probably one of the most composed quarterbacks in the league, and one of the most highly completed percentage-wise. Has one of the top 3 wide receivers, in the league, and if not a top 5 running back. So, I'm going with Detroit Lions.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Wow. What a game against the Giants. Walk-off long TD for the win. Are you serious? He's got 6 touchdowns in his last 2 games. Dwight Walton, you're up next, man. Lions or Packers? Is anybody going to pick the Pardon me, the Packers? Is anybody going to pick the Packers?
You know what? Tucker Kraft is a huge loss for the Packers, but they got Christian Watson back in return. I think he has a big day on Thursday. I think Jordan Love makes up for some of the reckless passes that he's thrown. Let me scale back a bit. Does anyone know if Josh Jacobs is going to be playing in the game on Thursday, the running back? If he's not in the game, I'm taking – huh?
It's up in the air. Probably going to be a game-time decision.
Okay, if he's in the game, I'm taking Green Bay. If he's not in the game, I think Detroit will come out on top. I just believe in the Packers defense than I do more the Lions defense, although they have Aiden Hendrickson on the Lions. I just think right now I think the Packers have a more complete team for me currently. Christian Watson coming back for the Pack will be the difference on Thursday afternoon.
For me, guys, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions as well. I'm glad we had one Packers. So it's going to be 4-1 here, Lions. And I'll give you a brief reason why. Motivation. The Lions have not played well, guys, in the last they're 3-3 in their last 6 games. You went to Philly and lost 16-9, ugly game. You should have lost to the New York Giants. I still can't believe Bates got that field goal to go. It was like 5 yards outside the right crossbar, upright, and it somehow came back in. It was insanity, okay? They should have lost that game. They should be on a 2-game losing streak right now and losing 3 of the last 4. Guys, they just lost a home game to my crummy, whoa. I'm divorced. I'm divorced. Old habits die hard, okay? Your Vikings. But anyway, the crummy Vikings went into Detroit and beat the Lions 27-24. This team is not playing great football right now. You got Green Bay on the road in a short week. Detroit is at home. But I just think Detroit's going to be madly motivated for this football game. You got a rival coming in. You're 7-4, they're 7-3-1. This is a colossal football game, and I'm taking the Lions, man. All right, let's get to. This is just such a huge game. 6-5 Chiefs, Dwight Walton. At 5-1 Dallas Cowboys, Dwight Walton. Have I made it clear enough that you go first?
You know what? I'm gonna take the same statement from Mike Greenberg from Get Up. He's saying that this might possibly be the most watched regular season game in NFL history. The importance, both teams are in must-win mode. Their playoffs basically started this past Sunday. Both had huge come-from-behind wins. The Cowboys over the Eagles, the Chiefs over the Colts, which just sets this game up on Thursday to be epic. Both teams understand the importance. My one concern for my Cowboys is that when the chips are down, when the chips are on the table, the 2 things that Andy Reid turns to are, number 1 is defense, and number 2, the running game. Yes, he tries to get cute with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice, but over the last couple of weeks, in must-win situations, what has he done? He's handed the ball off to Kareem Hunt, and Hunt has come through big time. This game on Thursday is of the utmost importance. I think, oddly enough, George Pickens has become the Cowboys' best receiver, their number 1 option. Dak Prescott is having a fantastic season. CeeDee Lamb has had some of the dropsies. I think he has 8 for the year, but the Cowboys are much improved defensively, led by Collins and Williams coming over in trades. They got Overshown back from injury. They're a decent defensive team. I'm going to be biased here. I'm going to be going with the Dallas Cowboys at home, but I think the Chiefs, my concern, their defense has stepped up and their running game is paramount, and that's how Andy Reid ultimately wins not only the AFC Championship, but Super Bowls. Let's see how the new defense that the Cowboys have, how do they stand up against the running game of the Kansas City Chiefs?
B-Dot, I go to you with the hat. You got a cowboy hat on. You picking them Cowboys?
Man, I wore this cowboy hat because of Dak Prescott did his thing in fantasy for me this past week. So I had to give credit where credit was. Yes, he had 2 interceptions, but him 3 touchdowns, 350 plus yards. Yeah, man, he did what he needed to do. Now, when we talk about this Cowboys and Chiefs game, I'm just going to go with the team that performs better within adversity. When something is going against them, I got to go with the Chiefs. Cowboys, we've seen them the past 10 years in adversity. Yeah, I know it's not the playoffs, but as much as I want the Cowboys to win, I'm a Dak Prescott guy. I want him to be successful, and I just want to see that Cowboys organization get back into that how they used to be. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon. We did say the Chiefs were going to pull it off and make that playoff run, and they did. With this past game, and they got to keep stacking it. I think they get a big win in Dallas, and they keep on pushing it, to make it that playoff run. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
We got it.
No crazy blowout or anything. It's not going to be no blowout, but I'm going with the Chiefs 24-17.
How's your fantasy team doing, by the way, B-Dot?
Oh, we're mediocre. We get it done because Josh Allen. Some days Josh Allen want to be he want to be Dan Marino, and the next time he want to be Dylan Gabriel. So it's really all on Josh Allen, man. He's supposed to be Superman, and he looking like a super fan right now. So my fantasy football team, we middle of the pack. We get it done when we need to get done. So I don't.
But you're still in it, right? You're still in it. You're not buried, right? You're still in it.
We're not. No buried. We're still in that thing. Yeah, we pull off wins, and I didn't think we was gonna pull off. So, hey, don't let Breece Hall get going. But then again, he is with the Jets. I'm sorry, AM, but I hopefully get a battery pack in his back, and he has a game like he had 3 weeks ago. But I'm not betting on that.
Yeah, you don't need to apologize. You don't need to apologize to AM or Jets fans. Go ahead, AM.
Yeah, you never need to apologize to me for that. And I hope we keep Breece. But real quick, B-Dot, who's leading in your fantasy league? Who's number one? Who's in first place?
I will have to go on my cellular device and find that out on my Yahoo app. So, but I'm
please do while we're on break. Just come back and let us know.
I'm gonna say it's Money Man AM. That's all I'm gonna say.
You are leading.
Is it?
I'm in the middle of the pack. I'm
just curious.
I'm actually out the playoff picture. Sheesh. All right.
Well, Doc, who you got? Cowboys or Chiefs, man?
Well, AM, did you choose?
Not yet. I think I'm after you.
All right. Well, I'll go with the. I'll make it quick. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Because that's actually what I want to happen. I don't want the Chiefs to be in the playoffs. I want to see another AFC team make it to the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Yeah, cuz.
I got you, cuz. I got you.
The one time.
I know, right?
Seriously. All right, AM, who you got, man? Cowboys or Chiefs?
Chiefs. Let Mahomes throw it 60 times. Don't even run the ball once if you don't need to. No reason to. It's a 3.5-point spread. Again, I always like to look at the spreads. I've talked about this before. That's what kind of pops up to me. I would look at this and otherwise think like it was somewhere between 1 and 2, especially because the Thanksgiving game is because it's in Dallas. But 3.5 is a sizable number. Something just looks wrong on the Cowboys side for this game and looks right on the Chiefs, after they won. Just both teams had incredible comebacks, but I thought the Chiefs was even more incredible this past week, especially against Indianapolis. So I don't know. I'm going Chiefs.
And the Chiefs win was greatly aided by the refs, which I told you guys last week, and that will be a rant of mine coming up in just a moment. Guys, I'm going to make this really, really quick. I'm going with the Cowboys, and here's why. We have a battle of America's team versus America's team, all right? The Cowboys are legitimately America's team, kind of like the Yankees in baseball, right? But you know what? The Chiefs are dang close to being America's team too, all right? And so you have like, why wouldn't the refs look out for the Cowboys? They've certainly been looking out for the Chiefs. They did it again last week. But what we have here is dueling America's teams. So the league wants both of these teams in the playoffs. They would love to have the Dallas Cowboys, a ratings bonanza in the playoffs, right? So because that's now nullified or neutralized, and it's just going to be a fair fight football game, I'm taking them Cowboys, okay? They're at home. They got a little momentum. I don't think Casey has any momentum. I really don't. I know they beat the Chiefs last week, but let's slide into my rant here. This is a perfect segue. Do you guys care about Bengals Ravens, or should we just move on? You guys want to pick that one, or should we go to the rant?
Yeah, let's pick it. Let's pick it.
Oh wait,
All right, so let's
right. Ravens.
All right, so it's Joe Burrow, by the way, I read before we came on, Joe Burrow's probably going to play in this game, trending towards making his return. So, B-Dot, you got Ravens?
Yeah, I'm going Ravens. That division is weaker than Derrick Rose knees. We going with Ravens.
Oh,
Yep.
AM's got the Ravens.
Ravens over here as well.
Dwight?
I'll take the Bengals because Joe Burrow's returning, and for whatever reason, Lamar Jackson looks like he's hurt. Not the same guy. They struggled against AM's Jets this past Sunday. I'm not sure they're clicking right now. I think the return of Joe Burrow will motivate. And talk about teams with senses of urgency. They pretty much have to run the table. They're 3-8 and still have a chance of making the playoffs. So I think it starts this Thursday night on the road in Baltimore. I'm taking the Bengals.
That was the old AM zag right there. Dwight going the other way. I'm on the Ravens here. What I've been impressed with the Ravens is Derrick Henry's looked like a different guy after the bye. He's like in better shape. He just looks just better. His production's been better. And Baltimore's defense has not allowed more than 19 points in their 5-game winning streak. So their defense was awful before the bye. Now their defense is at an elite level when you have not allowed anybody to score 20 points in this 5-game winning streak. Burrow's probably going to put up 20. I look for a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a fun game, and I got the Ravens. Okay, good idea, guys, to get that one in. Now, let's rant a little bit here, and I'm going to get us started here. The NFL is clearly rigged for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's obvious, and I'm over it. I've been joking about it and predicting it, and it happens every week. Why? Because we watch the games, and we see it happen time and time and time and time and time and time again. Okay, and it's still happening. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a reality that we are living in right now. The Chiefs have their dynasty. They don't need any help, NFL, Roger Goodell. They don't need help. Memo to the NFL. It does not matter who is in the NFL playoffs. It doesn't matter. It could be the Saints, the Colts, the Vikings, the dang Seahawks. It doesn't matter. We watch every game anyway. We watch it anyway, dude. You can have the Chiefs. The Jaguars can be good this year and make it some Jaguars-Chargers playoff game. I'm watching the heck out of that game, okay? Maybe the entire United States of America. But guess what? All the football fans, what are they doing? They're watching. It's a playoff game, okay? It's what we do. You have casual fans of the NFL. Once the playoffs start, they're locked in, baby. They got fantasy teams. They're betting like B-Dot on the Hard Rock bet thing, whatever. I will not be disappointed one bit if the Kansas City Chiefs miss the playoffs. Who cares? I mean, literally, who cares? Is it going to diminish the entertainment value of the playoffs that the Chiefs are not in it? No, not one bit, okay? So let's go to Sunday at Arrowhead. Controversial roughing the passer penalty on Grover Stewart, the DT for the Colts. All right, super impactful play, very widely debated. Chiefs win 23-20 in overtime. Without the benefit of that call, I'm not sure they get that win, okay? The penalty was a major turning point. The call was late in the second quarter. Chiefs trailing 14-9, struggling offensively. You got nothing going on. Mahomes is sacked by Grover Stewart. They're going to get the rock back, a chance to go up 21-9, okay? But, of course, you throw the flag, roughing the passer, saying that Stewart landed on Mahomes with his full body weight, a violation of that rule, right? But that rule is subjective and open to interpretation. Did he flatten him? Did he really finish him off? Like the old ref said, give him the business? I don't think so. I think Grover Stewart landed on Patrick Mahomes, that's not a flag, okay? The 15-yard penalty extended the drive and allowed the Chiefs to get a field goal, a huge field goal in that game. And then think about this, guys. It was questionable. Very, very close to the finishing him off thing. But I've seen way worse examples of that. And think about this, guys. There was a holding call on the Chiefs. I think it was Creed Humphrey, guy coming in, and he like wrapped him and then let go. There was a holding call against the Chiefs that they didn't throw the flag on the same play. Okay, so if you want to call the roughing the passer and you throw the holding penalty, they offset, you replay third down. Okay, so any way you slice it, the Colts are getting screwed here. But of course, it's America's sweetheart. We can't piss off State Farm. Okay, so it's a flag. I told y'all last week, right? Chiefs were going to beat the Colts, very close game, and they were going to get the benefit of the call, and they did. But I don't like this, okay? And I just, do you guys care who's in the playoffs? If the Chiefs are not in the playoffs, is it going to diminish your entertainment value watching the NFL playoffs? Anybody come on in here and rant if you want, let me know.
I want the Cowboys in.
I agree.
Are you guys, do you guys have to have the Chiefs in there?
No.
No, you know what? You know what? I think, listen, as much as we think the Chiefs get favors from the officials, we felt the same way about Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. I just think there's a natural emotional effect on fans when teams win at a very high and efficient rate. We want to see them go down. I think it would be great for the Chiefs to be in the playoffs so we can see them lose again. I'm sure there was a lot of people out there that were very pleased to see the Philadelphia Eagles not only beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but they handled them, right? For all of the close victories, for all of the favorable calls, it was nice to see the Chiefs go down. I think it's great. I think it's great for football that the Chiefs are in the playoffs. Do they get favorable calls? Of course they do, but a lot of times the teams with the best players and have the most success, they get the unwritten rule, fellas, of respect from the officiating crew most of the time. So that's just a part of it, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Chiefs in the playoffs in a couple of weeks, in about a month or so.
I just think this is rigged. I don't think this is respect for a champion, for a dynastic team. I think this is literally like it's about greed and ratings and money, and it's about all that stuff. I just think it's gross. I can't stand it. And it happens week after week after week after week. And wait, some may go down on Thanksgiving, have the whole world buzzing. Doc, I didn't mean to cut you off a moment ago. It kind of went a different direction there, but I want to go back to you.
No, I 100% agree with the rant. But it doesn't bother me, honestly speaking. I just think it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I think we all just want to see the Chiefs lose. I think the playoffs pretty much started a long time ago. That's why you have the regular season. So we get to see them. We get to see games like this that everybody's going to be tuning in, rooting against them, as well as just wanting to see what happens, because all these quarterbacks are putting on their capes right now because the playoffs has started for a lot of the teams. And so I think the must-see TV has already started. So I just hope that the refs, we just want to see a fair game. We just want to see people put their capes on, do their best to try to make it, and do their best once they get in the playoffs to try to win. I just know that the Chiefs are a different team once they make the playoffs. And so, I want to see someone else win it in the AFC and just get to the Super Bowl. I just want to see some different teams out there.
I dig it, man. All right, so let's go.
Last season, I'm good.
What's that, B-Dot?
I seen enough of Taylor Swift last season. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't agree more.
None to get Taylor, but I'm good. Show Cardi B more.
Somebody had to say it. Glad it was you, B-Dot. Glad it was you.
Hey, B-Dot. Hey, B-Dot. Last year, Travis Kelce would score a touchdown. he is a good touchdown celebration guy, right? Big spike and howls at the moon and all that kind of stuff. The second he crosses the goal line, they don't care about Kelsey. They go up to Caitlin Clark and Taylor Swift in the luxury.
100%.
Just drove me crazy. Like let the celebration ensue in the end zone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do your gratuitous cutaway to Taylor Swift. But he literally would cross the end zone. Oh, we no longer care about Travis Kelce. It's all about Taylor Swift. Ugh, I roll. All right, AM, you got a rant for us.
I have a call. Rivalry week. I couldn't be more excited for college football rivalry week. The NCAA got it right with these 12 teams and the playoff. And there are a lot of implications. If you are a fan of football, watch the NCAA football during rivalry week. We got Georgia at Georgia Tech. We got Texas A&M at Texas. We got Bama holding on for dear life at Auburn. We all know what the Iron Bowl looks like. There's a lot of great games and a lot of good football this week. And, by the way, the NFL got it right for their Thanksgiving slate. It's phenomenal, all 3 games if you're excited about that. But at the same time, the gods have given us NCAA implications. Get on the couch this time. Don't get off the couch and do anything exciting. Get on the couch and watch some football this week. It's going to be a good one from Thursday all the way to Sunday.
Doc, you got a rant, or are we in shout out mode, or I guess we're still in rant mode? Doc, you got a rant?
Shout out mode. I want to say I'm thankful for you guys. This came out of nowhere. It's Thanksgiving is coming up, and that's what I'm thankful about in terms of being able to shoot the show with you guys twice a week. It's been great. I know we don't have a show on Thursday, so I just want to give you guys a shout out. Say thank you. Thank you for the guys behind the glass and Kai and Jason and 3D. Shout out to 3D. And just really just looking forward to seeing what we can do as we go beyond the surface and really just promote this show everywhere we can. And so thank you guys. Appreciate you, my guy AM, holding us down in the LA studio. And so looking forward to watching these games and getting back to it.
Doc, you the man. Thank you so much. I'm super thankful and blessed for this gig, Doc, in a relationship which goes way back to the NBA TV days with Dennis on the fantasy show and on other shows on NBA TV. Just love you, man, and super, super happy to be here with B-Dot and DZ and Dwight and AM and Kai and Jason and our great audience. By the way, subscribe to the X-Rated Sports Network YouTube channel. That would be very, very cool. B-Dot, probably my favorite part of any show that we do is the B-Dot rant, and that time is now.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Before you get it. I'm thankful for all you guys too. Before it's great to see you back, Dwight. We missed you. So let's get into it. Okay, before we wrap this thing up, let me say again, for the people who think Detroit is just having a cute little hot streak, put some Beavers damn respect on the Detroit Pistons. Okay, 13 straight wins, 13-game winning streak, tying their championship teams from the past, sitting at 15-2, looking like the most locked-in squad in the East. Okay. Detroit out here playing like the Monstars paid rent in their locker room, okay? Stephen A. Smith, boys, this is a legitimate threat to come out of the East, okay? Because let's be honest, there's no overwhelmingly dominant team in the Eastern Conference right now. Boston, Philly, injured. Milwaukee, confusing. Miami, hot, cold, lukewarm, microwave, unstable. Detroit stays healthy and keeps hooping like this, they can absolutely win the Eastern Conference Finals against whoever shows up, all right? This ain't a fairy tale. This is a resume. And speaking of respect, I know many might not like this, but let's put some respect on Dylan Brooks too, okay? Yeah, I said it. The man everybody loves to hate is out there hooping for real. Averaging 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. His last 3 games, 29 versus the Houston Rockets, 25 versus San Antonio, 22 versus Minnesota. That man cooking like he trying to get invited to Thanksgiving twice, okay? Dylan out there hooping like somebody told him he got to pay rent with buckets, okay? This production cannot be ignored. You may hate his antics, but you cannot question the output. So let's end the show like this. Detroit is real. Dylan Brooks out here earning his name. And if the rest of the league ain't paying attention, that's them problem, okay? Not Detroit. And I'm done.
I love it.
B-Dot.
I love it.
Let's go. Big Dylan Brooks fan. I know earlier when we were talking about dirty players, I said, I mean, he is dirty. I mean, that's factual, but I love him. He could play for my team any day, and he's underrated, B-Dot, and he is scoring the hell out of that ball right now for the Suns. Dwight Walton, you got a rant for us?
No, I just want to continue off of what Dot just said. I want to celebrate the top two teams in the Eastern Conference of the NBA, the Detroit Pistons and the Raptors. The Detroit Pistons have won 13 games in a row. They're 15-2, sitting atop the Eastern Conference. Just 2 seasons ago, their total win total was 14. They were 14-58. Just 2 seasons ago. Trajan Langdon, J.B. Bickerstaff, they deserve their flowers. They have established a culture, not only for their team, but across the NBA. They are coming. They are physical. They can score. They've got multiple players that can dribble, pass, and shoot. Jaden Ivey has returned. You're going to hear names like Chaz Lanier, Javonte Green, Ron Holland, Asir Thompson. Of course, you all know about Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. Isaiah Stewart's on that team. They are a bunch of rugged, in-your-face, brash, but they play clean basketball, and that's how they're gonna bring even Dennis Jenkins, a two-way player who has embraced the nickname Nasty Boys. Not the bad boys from back in the late 80s, early 90s, but this team has been called the Nasty Boys. The Detroit Pistons are here to stay, and as far as I'm concerned, as of today's show, the Eastern Conference goes through the Detroit Pistons. This winning streak is real. The Detroit Pistons are real. And now, in close proximity, a 45-minute flight from Detroit to Toronto, the Toronto Raptors are 13-5, second right behind the Detroit Pistons. They started off the season 1-4. They proceeded to win 12 of their last 13 games, and the Raptors have established themselves as a physical team coming into the season. I said if healthy, the Raptors won't be an easy W for anybody in the NBA, and they're proving me right so far. Getting Brandon Ingram through trade was a godsend for them. They have a player that comes off their bench. I cannot pronounce his last name. I believe he went to Seton Hall, left-handed, about 6'10", could put the ball on the floor, can stretch the floor, is physical at the rim. He brings an attitude, a presence. His name is Mamu. I can't say his whole last name, but the Toronto Raptors are here to stay as far as I'm concerned. Darko Rajakovic, along with J.B. Bickerstaff, are 1-2 as far as I'm concerned in terms of Coach of the Year honors right now. You can throw J.J. Redick into the fold as well. You can throw Mark Daniel to have his team at 17-1, coming off a championship season last season, and without Jalen Williams. Those names are in the Coach of the Year mix right now, but my top two are Darko Rajakovic of the Raptors and J.B. Bickerstaff of the Detroit Pistons. These two teams need to be celebrated, and they need to stay healthy, obviously, particularly the Raptors, who have been ravaged by injury over the last 2 years. But when you can put on a roster of Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Jakob Poeltl, Grady Dick, Jamal Shed, OG Adebayo from Kansas, Jacoby Walter, Mamu, like I said, they have a roster that's built for today's NBA. They're deep, they're versatile, and they defend, and they get out and run. They currently lead the NBA in fast break points. Let's give our flowers to the Detroit Pistons and the Toronto Raptors, the top two teams in the NBA's Eastern Conference.
AM, do you have a final word or a shout-out before we get out?
I just want to piggyback on what everybody's saying in terms of thanks. Thank you, Doc X, for creating this show and bringing us all together. This is incredible. Thank you, Rick Hamlin, for being the absolute genius you are and mainstay. And vocal, loquacious linguist, and I love listening to you and working with you. Dwight, so glad you are feeling better. I love your rants. I love your fights with your cousin. I love everything about you. And B-Dot, you keep me in stitches, man. And it is great working with you. And I love it every time your face appears on that screen and it's like B-Dot is in the studio. And of course, to Dennis Scott, we miss you. We love you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm enjoying working with you. I can't wait to have you back. It's always a pleasure when you're on. Jason and Kai, you guys have been amazing behind the scenes. Happy Thanksgiving to all. So thank you for giving me my time. And I love being here.
Yeah.
Oh, that was phenomenal right there. Tough act to follow, AM. Really, really, really appreciate you saying those kind words about me and everybody else. But AM, that hit me very well, and it's very cool. Very cool to hear. Thank you. It's a blessing to hear that and to be with you guys. And just a shout out before we get out to Russell Westbrook. Last word here. Saturday night at Denver. He goes in. Remember, Denver didn't want him. Idiotic decision to let him go. Totally could have had him. All he did was charge up every game he's ever in. He went 21, 11, and 6, 9 of 16 from the field. And the Kings beat the Nugs with Jokic in Denver. Why? Because Russell Westbrook willed them to do it. That's why. Russ, we love you out here. That's the shout out before we get out, and we are officially out. Huge thanks behind the glass to Jason Arambula, our producer, our video director, Kai Josephson. Huge thanks to this amazing panel right here. The great Dr. X, Phil McDonald, and A.M. Pfeffer holding it down out in L.A., Dwight Walton, and the great Brandon Armstrong. And for Dennis Scott, who's busy right now with the Players Era Festival, I'm Rick Kamla. We'll see you next Tuesday with Beyond the Surface. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.